What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? How's everyone doing? What's up, brother? What's up? Yo, yo, yo. How's everyone doing? All right. How's everyone doing? Let me. What's up, brother? What's up, brother? So, so, a couple lives ago, I had a viewer wanted me to do a MGTOW, right? MGTOW live stream. Now, I don't know if he's going to show up tonight. I mean, you know, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I thought it was a good idea, right? A bit of a change, something different. Red Door, what's up, my sister? What's up? Yo, Real Rain, what's up, my brother? Okay, yes. So, Real Rain said it, right? He wanted to talk about MGTOW. Now, I've had a bit of a glancery, knowledge of MGTOW, throughout my time. And I thought it was interesting, right? But I had my own reservations about it. But I figured, you know what? It's an interesting topic to talk about. It would be an interesting topic to talk about. So I have some videos that, I will have up. We'll talk about it. We'll react to it. If you guys want to show up, right? If you guys want to join, right? Link is in the description. Link is in the chat. Okay, I pinned it as well. Right, so you guys could join if you guys want, but we'll talk about it. Right, we'll talk about thoughts on it. Okay. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
It's a little hard to hear you.
How about now?
Better.
All right. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good.
All right. So you want to talk about MGTOW? I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit. The audio's a little weird.
Okay. Let me see. All right.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about it because I thought it was a good idea. Huh. Do you have me playing in the background?
Nah, I got you turned off. Let me just cancel it out.
Yeah. Hello. No. So something wrong with your audio. It might be picking it up.
How about now?
Yeah. Could you? Sounds. Yep. Much better.
All right. Cool.
Much better. But yeah. So I figured I wanted to talk about it because I've seen some recent studies that the single male population is actually growing. It's one of the fastest growing demographics right now, and I figured it'd be a good thing to talk about. So I definitely want to talk about it. And you really wanted you said you wanted to throw your hat in and voice your opinions on it, and I guess just have some opinions on it. Now, personally, for me, I personally where I made different MGTOW where I definitely believe that most men, if not all men, need to have self-respect, love themselves, right? Love themselves. They should not be desperate. Okay. I think the biggest danger for men is being desperate for women. Having women as your greatest weakness, and that's hurt a lot of men. So that's why one of the things that I at least love about MGTOW is that they don't let women be their weakness. So that's something that I love it, and I think it's a great thing. So, but yeah, let's give some of your thoughts.
Well, MGTOW means one thing, men going their own way, but for every man, their own way is something different. Like you got, your pop culture collection, you going your own way might be visiting cons you never gone to and like traveling the world. My going my own way was going to the gym, doing MMA and other stuff like that. And there are other MGTOWs that will actually actively date, but the philosophy basically comes down to three core principles: no cohabitation, no joint bank accounts, and no getting the state involved.
Mm.
So those are like, because I was telling you in the last live stream, it's more of a philosophy than it is an ideology. And if you kind of look at it, the ADL has MGTOW classified as like a dangerous thought.
Yeah, I've looked at some articles that pretty much name them extremists, terrorists, which is absolutely disgusting. It really
Right.
is. I hate that shit.
Well, because it is a threat. That's the thing.
Mm.
It is a threat to the current system, because say enough men walk away from dating, that's going to hurt the restaurant industry. That's going to hurt the bar industry, which is going to hurt the alcohol industry. It's going to hurt the entertainment industry. It's going to hurt so many micro industries that we don't associate with dating, even like apartments and stuff like that. So it is a very dangerous ideology to the current system. But at the same time, women and the government are not listening to men when we say we want these things changed. We want no fault divorce removed. We want alimony taken out. We want X, Y, and Z, and they're not giving it to us. So we're just going to do the next best thing and not play the game.
Yes, I agree. I agree. A lot of men. This is the thing where I always hated that women constantly say that the system is made for men. It wasn't. It wasn't made for men, right? I mean, it's made on the backs of men, but it's made for like the top tier men. Okay, so I always feel like, because I believe men are suffering. Okay, men are being used, men are suffering. So I never cared for the ideology that we constantly push out, that they don't care if men are suffering.
Well, that's because they've been programmed not to care. Like I can't blame a woman for not caring about men suffering when it's something that they were literally taught from a young age, that like men are out to get you, men hate you, men want to do this, men want to do that. Like they're taught to fear us. We
I agree.
blame them for that conditioning. What we like, and no matter what, it just seems like we're both sides are going this way, and there's no one in the middle that's kind of saying like, hey, like, both of y'all are hurt, and hurt people hurt people.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
And you know what? Like when you first like go down the path of MGTOW, what's weird is you get shamed for like the first 6 months, and then after it, others around you are like, "Why am I not doing that?" Like you'll get called incel. You'll get
Mm.
you'll get called gay.
Mhm.
You'll get called
Mhm.
kinds of horrible things. But at the end of that, like you're literally free. Like I've been a MGTOW for like 2+ years, and all I think is like anything I want to do, I can basically do it outside of like breaking the law.
Uh huh. But what?
So
So what is MGTOW to you? Okay, what is it? What's the difference between, let's say, how the 2+ years, the 2 years that you pretty much embraced the philosophy, compared to the years before that?
okay, well, you're familiar with like the red pill men, right?
Yeah.
Like the okay. I feel like the red pill men are still slaves to women.
Hmm. How
So
so? Explain.
okay, well, like let's just say you're one of those red pill pickup artists. You're
Oh,
still
I hate them.
you're still seeking women's validation. So
Mm-hmm.
everything you're doing is to impress a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the other like aspect of the manosphere where it's like men need to learn, get money, muscles, game, and frame or whatever. Again, you're just doing all those things in pursuit of getting women. You're not doing it in pursuit of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like as a stoic person or someone who tries to be stoic, there's a beauty to the suffering of just like learning to be alone.
Mm.
So that's where like MGTOW is for me. Like I embraced the alone aspect of it, and now like I said, like after we get off this, I can go back to the gym, work out again. I can wake up in the morning, go to work, and get off, and not have to worry about like nagging, not have to worry about like having to do the "what you doing" text, or wondering if the girl I'm talking to tonight, is she talking to someone else?
Mm.
Like, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know what city you live in. I live in Houston, man. You can't spell hoe without, you can't spell Houston without hoe, man.
No, no, no. I am definitely on board with the thing. I hate the whole I hate the whole pickup artist part of it, and I never view that as really part of uh red pill ideology. And I hate the part where you're correct, right? When you do things for women's validation, you still lost, right? You're still lost. You're not doing it right. It should always be, the core should always be for yourself. I always find this, that why is it the world allows women to be selfish, but if men care about themselves, if men are selfish, he's condemned. He's belittled. Men
Because
are
women,
always going to their own duties, but women are not.
because women control the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many men go to the mall? Like, how many single men are going to the mall today?
No, I mean that's true. I mean, it is true that a lot of things, like we see it, commercial entertainment, it's geared towards women because they are the ones to buy things. Just like a little while ago, right? We seen it with Gillette when they made their advertisement, pretty much geared towards women because they believe that if anything, even if it's a product for men, they view it as because women are the buyers, right? So women buy things for men, or or at least husbands or significant others. So they still gear it towards women. So I definitely agree. That's another thing where it shows that the power of women that women never recognize. They
Well,
have
this
no.
is also what Gillette did. They were smart. They knew what they were doing. They knew that they were going to piss off 10 million men.
Mm,
They also knew that they could offset it by getting 2 million women to pay 5 times as much for their razor. Like,
yep.
they literally just sold the same razor to women at a markup. And like, that's just to show how gullible women are when it comes to finances. And I'm not saying all women, but you know what I mean.
No, it's true. I mean, women have some of the highest debt around. So I definitely agree. You know, I've always I've always thought that, you know, a lot of men are not you know, because when I started my journey, right? When I started my journey with the channel and all that stuff, I was you hear all these stories that of men sacrificing themselves for others, right? Sacrifice themselves for their families, for the women they love, but at the end of the day, no one thinks about them. No one thinks about the men that would sacrifice his life for others. And that's why it made me do retrospect where I wanted to, support men, give help, be a small part in giving men a voice. So I definitely love giving men a voice to have, to be express themselves. So it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's not just like a matter that men need a place to express themselves, but there's no place in like the public space where men can actually be vulnerable. Like, 'cause,
Exactly.
we've all heard it before where women will complain like, "Oh, I want my man to be more emotional." His dad dies, and then she breaks up with him because she saw him cry. So it's like we're being told to do this, but then the actions show another thing. So there's no real like. I think Arkansas, you can check it out. in Arkansas, they tried to open up a men's domestic abuse center,
Mm.
and it got sued to oblivion to where it couldn't even get opened.
Hmm.
I believe it was in Arkansas, but like, yeah, like, so anything that involves men suffering, they just want us to shut up and suffer in silence.
Let's see.
And even think about it, like, when was the last time in your city that you saw a domestic center for men?
No, I've never seen one.
It's not even talked about.
I've never seen one. Trying to see. I would love to hear that. But I don't see it.
I'll try and find the article that I found it on, because I heard it from one of the MGTOW channels a couple years ago. I
A
think it
couple
was
years
from,
ago.
I think it was from Hammer Hands.
Huh. Well, I mean, again, like, I'm not saying it's wrong or right, because I know that there isn't many, or if any, programs purely geared towards men. If there is, it's very few. It's very few and far between. So I definitely, I definitely know that there isn't much for men.
Yeah. And something that you can think about with like MGTOW being is MGTOW is a shield.
Mm.
MGTOW is a shield so you can attack life. But if your shield's up and you're like automatically blocked from women, consumerism, and all like the stuff that we have learned in our years that we should like really start to stray away from and kind of unprogram ourselves from, that's when we can start attacking with the spear. Like, we can't make any, there's not enough men out there that are willing to like make a change.
This is crazy. Red Door said it. I'm working with a group to open up a DV shelter for men. There are only 5 nationwide. That is insane. Utterly insane.
Yeah, and he even said it, women's shelters refuse to take men.
Yeah, insane. Whiskey, my brother. I know I saw you in the backstage. I just wanted to give Real Rain a few couple minutes just to talk about his thoughts, because he's the one who gave me this idea for the live tonight. So I wanted to give him a couple minutes to just talk, and so definitely, if anyone else want to join, you guys could always join and just stay backstage for a little bit, and we could always join a little bit later. Whiskey said, and thank you for the donation, my brother. Thank you for the I have never had a problem with sacrifice. I actually like to sacrifice, but I need some recognition for my sacrifice. Just an attaboy. Never got it checked out. And you know what? That's the thing where men are, we constantly ignore this about a lot of men, or society does. Men do not mind sacrificing. I think it's within a man's genetic to jump to sacrifice his life for the greater good, for others, because I honestly believe men are selfless. I believe men are selfless. Men care about others. This is why I hate the narrative that we constantly trying to paint men as evil, as violent, as villains, and all that shit, because I don't believe it. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't plenty of bad men. Of course, there are bad people in every kind of demographic. Bad women, bad races, bad people of certain races. There's bad people in everything. But you look at statistics and stuff, most men, in my opinion, are not terrible. Most men are not violent, right? So I just hated that and again, one of the things why I wanted to build this channel is try to fight against that narrative. Because at the end of the day, it is fine that that men are not recognized for sacrificing themselves, but the alternative, or the current narrative, is that men are evil. And that's the thing where fine. If you don't praise men or give men recognition for a sacrifice, but that's fine. But then you demonize men, and I'm like, so you don't give men recognition, but yet you demonize them while you're at it. That's the thing where I'm tired of that.
Well, it's the 80-20 rule. You know how like 20% of men are dating all the women?
Mm.
So 80% of women are seeing 20% of men, and they're dealing with of that 20% of men, probably half of that are evil men. So they're dealing with evil men. So they view the whole world as evil men, but they don't take into account like the Starbucks barista they run into, the gas station clerk, the cook at the restaurant. They don't, those, we are invisible to women.
Exactly. I
So
agree. I agree.
the fact that they say like so many men are evil, well, it's because we're invisible to them.
So
And even
because they only notice the top, they only notice these top tier or the top 20% of men that they do date. So of course, women are only noticing the bad men.
exactly like YouTube, like think of what's that popular YouTube channel with like that cuck guy? No Jumper.
Oh no, yeah.
Think of how many women see that guy and they think like that's normal, even though like everyone in the comments are just roasting the guy. But they see him, they're like, oh well, he's successful and he lets his wife bang other dudes, so why isn't my guy letting me do that? Like that's just how women operate. Like one of the things I agree with Rolo Tomasi is like we shouldn't really like we shouldn't hate women for
Mm.
what they don't know. But we also can't be mad at them for not knowing about us. So this is just like a massive communication issue from all sides, really.
No, and here's the thing, right? I've always promoted this, and I've always said this countless times before, and I will always continue to say it. I've never created this channel to hate on women. Okay, my point has always been accountability. At the end of the day, I want to promote that for men, and I want to just say that that's we don't need to hate on women, but we need to recognize certain bad behaviors, and for ourselves not to deal with said women. And that's what the thing where I do like how the MGTOW movement, like I said in the beginning, where it promotes that you don't deal with these unruly women, but you don't try to change them. They do what they do, and then you do what you do. Okay. At the end of the day, it is what it is. That's why I never come out here and promote any kind of prescription for our society. But I definitely promote the one thing I always promote is self-love within men, and I think there's so little of it.
Yeah, well, you see, like I'm gonna do it for you. We need to start prescribing men to really two things: seek strength and wisdom.
100%, 100%.
If you are like just in any way lost out there, do 100 push-ups a day and read like one chapter of a book. You're giving yourself a goal to strive for, and when you work on your strength and you work on your wisdom, you're actually going to become more attractive to a range of people.
Yeah, and again, at the end of the day, being attractive to other people or not, at least you should be more content and happy with yourself.
When I say more
There's so many
attractive,
people that hate themselves. That's the thing where, and yes, I mean, I don't disagree about making yourself better in hopes to be attractive to other people. But at the end of the day, I always, like you said in the beginning too, how the core is that it's always you, right? You got to care about yourself. And we have
yeah.
too many men that don't.
When I say attractive to others, I don't
No,
necessarily
I get
physically.
it.
I mean like spiritually as well.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
But I know you had some other guys that want to come on, and I appreciate you having me on, man. We should do this again
No,
sometime.
no. Stay on. Let's stay on for a bit.
Okay.
Let's react to some videos, right? Give me some of your thoughts. There's this video that Evil Eddie, my brother, what's up? What's up?
Good evening. How are you?
Hey, nice to meet you, man.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
All right, so let's react to some videos, and then I pick a couple videos that are pretty much in theme with men staying single, men doing their own thing. So I would love let's see what other people are thinking or are saying. So let's check this one out.
To staying single for too long. And I know that's kind of subjective to a person and their overall intention or reason for staying single. And I know for a lot of men, they're under the impression that all women are the same. So, what's the point of getting myself in another relationship with women of today's society? And let me tell you one thing, men. Relationships are the very foundation for a man to actually rise into the best version of himself. And that sometimes comes from having poor quality relationships that teaches you something about yourself. Relationships are a great way to evolve as human beings, and I think we discount the importance of connection, especially in this modern day world. It's something that we're biologically wired to crave and actually need, but we're pretending that's not the case. And I think a lot of men feel like they're strong for staying single. You avoiding relationships doesn't make you strong. It's actually going to be something that could create an avoidance for intimacy and vulnerability. And I think for the majority of men today, there's a reason for why they're not in a relationship. But most importantly, people's reason has nothing to do with looking themselves in the mirror and seeing what are my faults. And listen, the type of women you have or have not attracted is ultimately due to the beliefs you're carrying that attract certain people to you for you just to see what you're participating in through the stream of thought. And that's the importance of really understanding the reason you're single today. Because perhaps you actually don't want to be single, but you're following this narrative that other men are projecting onto this culture that women are the problem, women are toxic. And I'm not here to discount that because there's toxic individuals. Both men.
Now, let me say this, right? At least where I thought about how I differ from, let's say, MGTOW, at least my preconception of it, is that I do believe that us as human beings should, again, teach to each their own, but we as human beings should have partners, right? I believe that. But one of the things that what I definitely disagree with this woman is that I don't want, one of the things that I don't want men to be desperate for it, right? Because desperation in men have always been our weakness. And I've said this before in my my past, where because I hated to be single, so it made me desperate not to be single, right? So it made me desperate to stay in relationships that were absolutely toxic to me, absolutely poisonous to me. So, and this is a thing where I think more men should, and I said this, no one should agree with anybody on 100% on anything. So I've always promote for men to, take a bit of this, take a bit of that, and interpret it how best it suits with you, right? How best it can improve your life. So that's how I go about it. And this is why I think a lot of men, we don't necessarily need to be prescribed one particular thing where people can call me red pill, but I don't necessarily think that. People may call me this, people may call me that. It really doesn't affect me because I don't necessarily view myself as put a label on me. So that's a thing. And I definitely do want to talk about, I do think women are the core root of a lot of problems in modern day society. Okay, to say that certain women, I think majority of women, and it's because of women's ideology that is very poisoning to the majority of women. So, because even women that are in relationship with men, you see them every day bashing their husbands online. So really, it doesn't change nothing. So, but what do you guys think so far? Any thoughts?
I mean, she kind of just used normal women shaming language where she's trying to guilt you into it trying to appeal to your emotional and spiritual side, but she didn't even mention what women can do differently.
No.
So it's just, to me, that's just another shallow attack that I heard.
No.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I hear
Good.
you.
I think she was just using "How dare you not be vulnerable? How dare you not let us take advantage of you?"
Mm.
That's what I have to think.
No. I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree. It really is like how dare you not let me manipulate you? It's really weird. It's a weird thing going on now. And then I wanted to say I agree with Da when he's saying that you shouldn't agree with nobody 100%. But I think the problem is that people are not even looking into the stuff. That's my problem. It's like, okay, well, before I say I agree with you or not, let me look into it. Let me find out if you actually are telling me the truth or not. I think that's really the problem, truly.
No. And that's the thing where I like, it's always women like this that I always find it funny that will definitely hold men accountable, but I rarely ever hear other women holding other women accountable. I would probably eventually do this because I did it a little bit on another live where women are like, there's a very hot thing right now where women are saying that they would not leave their friends if their friends were cheaters. I'm
No,
like, see, that's the thing where literally, like, how many times you hear women saying, "Oh, why don't men hold bad men accountable?" Women don't even hold other women accountable, and then you expect men to do something that you wouldn't even do.
that's because honor is not a thing amongst women.
Yeah.
That's like a trait that men hold like near and dear to the heart amongst other men. Women don't do that. Like,
Exactly.
And women. And if you've attracted these types of people in your life, it's actually there to teach you something, a lesson. And if you're in ignorance to that lesson, you're going to have to repeat it. Yes, she may look different, but what's the theme within the relationships you've either had or have not had today? Something I've learned through committed relationships in my own life is that's actually where you get to become your best self. And even through the heartbreak, even, I feel like that's the invitation for your growth, for your evolution, to rise into the best version of yourself. And I think we discount that because playing a victim is a lot easier than rising into that victor of your reality. A lot of people are isolated by choice, or maybe not by choice. They're lonely. Men staying single for too long is it puts you in a very vulnerable place within yourself. You have this barrier that protects you from connection. You're going to wallow within the desire you're not allowing yourself to obtain. But you see the representation of women you have attracted, take the women out of it. What does that say about yourself? Whether what you've allowed in the past that you no longer want to bring into your future, maybe certain things you once prioritized within a person that don't actually give you the results you need. If you really want to step into your fullest masculine expression, you can't do that without the opposite polarity assisting you through that, and vice versa for women. We have polarity upon this earth, light and dark, man and woman, and the list can go on. But here's the thing. When a man is committed to one person, he's discerned a woman out of the key qualities he values and respects. It really is just a reflection of the very own self-trust he has put into his decision making. And a man who lacks authority, a man who lacks clarity, a man who lacks purpose, that's a man who is at fault by the choices he has made thus far. And that's the thing. If you're prioritizing being single and you're not doing anything in that season of being single, you're ultimately just going to repeat patterns that you don't want. Do things that are preparing you to be the man that women can respect in a relationship.
Now, here's the thing where one thing I wanted to say, what she did mention is that, and I've promoted this a lot, where I think this is a problem with like a lot of young men, where we have a generation of young men they are directionless and guideless. Being raised by single mothers, right? With these women picking terrible men to procreate with. So we have a generation of young men not having a direction in life. So one thing I guess I kind of agree with this woman is that we do have a lot of men that don't know what to do in life. But at the end of the day, I think it's a dangerous road to have a woman as a goal. So this is why I've always promoted, like, if you go to the gym for yourself, you make money for yourself, you improve your mind for yourself, because at the end of the day, okay, when you have women as your goal, we have so many different types of women out here, which you don't know if you will fit her goal, right? If you will fit her standards, fit her whatever. So at the end of the day, if you can achieve your goal, and at the end you achieve your goal and you are happy or content with life, it doesn't matter about anything else, right? It doesn't matter about anything else, because this is also one of the things why I do promote like Passport Bros, where open up your dating market, where you're not just focusing on Western women, you're focusing on women all around the world. So at the end of the day, it's not about the women, it's about, are you happy with your life? Are you content with how your life is? Do you feel fulfilled in the direction you picked? Because again, a lot of men are suffering from depression. And I believe because one of the biggest reason why is because instead of making you, right, the prosperity of your life, your goal, your purpose in life, you make women. You make women the goal. You make women the direction of your life. And that will always fail you. Because again, women are very fickle. Okay, they are ruled by their emotions. And since they are ruled by their emotions, you can never know what they're feeling at that particular time of day. So I've always promoted this for men to focus on themselves, be better for yourself. And then whatever happens, if you can find the woman that compliments you, great. But at the end of the day, you should be happy of your life regardless.
Yeah,
What do
but
you got?
also some of these young men that you were talking about, like, coming from like the single mother households and stuff like that, they don't really have any masculine role, like pop culture wise. Like when I was a kid, I loved Tyler Durden and Patrick Bateman. Those two to me were alpha males, like just going out there and getting shit done. Nowadays, like I tried to watch the new Tron movie the other day and
Oh,
I really had to walk out. And this was like the third movie I've gone to see in theaters where I'm like, how can any young man learn from these characters?
bro, okay. If you guys check my second channel, right, Devil's Avocado, my video, I did it on a live, so it's a cut up, but it's gotten a lot of views. Okay, where I was talking about it. Women have fucked up men's entertainment. Like seriously, where's the action hero? There's no fucking action heroes nowadays. I was like, I could go on a diatribe of it, but it's like, literally, what is that? I mean, like, I don't care if it's a white man, all that shit, because I didn't care. But I grew up watching Stallone movies, Arnold movies, Van Damme movies, Jackie Chan movies. Those guys were badass, right? They exude masculinity. They exude badassery. And now what do we have? We have women trying to take over those roles. That's why I really don't watch movies. I really don't go out and watch movies, right? Because it's just, honestly, women have invaded those spaces, okay? And they're promoting, LGBT stuff in men's content. They have to have a person of color, because here's the thing, even when I was growing up, I didn't care that Stallone was white. I didn't care that Arnold was white. I just loved, like, focus on some badass fucking movies, right? Some kick-ass one-liners. I love that shit, right? And you know what? Because you could see how, like I said on my second channel, how was it the second channel? Yeah, I think it was the second channel. How so many men agreed. So many men watched it and like they literally agreed that women have really just poisoned men's entertainment.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say a couple things. I might seem like a chauvinist, a whatever, but that is why that woman proved why there is a thing with women in leadership. There is no leadership without self accountability. And if you can't look at yourself and be like, I need to do this and do better, you cannot lead nothing. There's no leadership without self accountability to me. Number one. But what you was just talking about with my favorite was John McClane. John
Mm.
McClane was my favorite. He was, like you said, I didn't care that he was white. I didn't care he was white. I didn't care Jackie Chan was Chinese. I didn't care. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care Arnold was Austrian. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? They would go in there and they would tear stuff up. John McClane took down the whole whatever. We don't have that no more. And I'm just sorry. I think we have passed the time of being nice about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to tell the truth. You know, we have to tell the truth about stuff and not be nice about it and not really care about people's feelings. That's the problem with the PC culture, which I was alive for. The PC culture ruined everything. It ruined everything. It went from the top three best getting the trophy to everybody getting the trophy, and
Oh,
that destroyed us as a society, really. And we're to the point now where it's good that it's like a time for correction. You know what I'm saying? Like if certain real masculine people take the reins, we can do it. That's how I feel. We can do it, but I'm sorry. Any woman can say anything about you can whatever, but that is why people look at female leadership as a joke because there is no accountability. It's always, oh, you did it. You. I didn't do it. You did it, and that's the problem to me. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
fact.
You're right, man.
You got thoughts, you Eddie?
I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've just gleaned from it, it looks like another girl boss movie, and the man or any man is either evil, sexist, dumb, comic relief. So yeah, it's getting even the women I talk to don't like that kind of characters. It's kind of almost patronizing to them. So I don't know who their target market it is because they're not making any money anymore. So hopefully it'll just end when they don't make money.
Think about like the last successful like action franchise we had, John Wick. What did they do? They inserted a chick in it and made it lame and gay.
Ballerina,
Yep.
right? Yep. Haven't even seen that yet. Not interested.
I know. I mean, I'm not either.
And I think Ana de Armas is sexy as fuck.
I do. Oh my god, she's my fucking Hollywood crush.
Right.
But I'm just like I said this to a friend where I'm just tired of the environment, right? So let's say if that movie came out, let's say 50. I mean, let's say 30 years ago. Fine, right? It's okay. But the environment is just like it's always about. And again, here's my thing where I believe women fucked up society. I really do. I really do because in my opinion, the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. We didn't give a shit about color, right? I didn't give a shit that the movie like Die Hard, Rambo, all these like they're white men. I didn't give a shit. I've never heard when I was growing up, never heard a black man, an Asian man, any other man said, "Oh my god, I wish Terminator had a black man in it," or like fucking Alien had a man leading it. We didn't care. We focused on the movie. Just make a good fucking movie. That's it. But now it's like everything is like it's a fucking checkbox, right? It's a checkbox. Oh, you need a person of color, you need a woman, you need someone from the LGBT alphabet T community, and that's the thing why we don't have good entertainment for men, and like even Eddie said, who's this gearing towards? I said this in a TikTok video. I don't fucking understand. Who do they gear this shit to? Because none of the alphabet people watch it. None of the women don't even support this shit, right? Like the whole thing a little while ago, the Charlie's Angel thing, okay? the female director literally said that her movie wasn't made for men. Her movie wasn't made for men. And then when that fucking movie bombed, she blamed men. I'm like, bitch, are you crazy? You literally said it wasn't made for men. And now you got angry because men didn't go watch. Guess what? The movie you made it, the people you made it for didn't even watch it too. And that's the insanity. I don't understand. I get it. Maybe some women love comic book movies. Maybe some women love action movies. But what happened to understanding who your audience is? Because you can see my background. I'm a big comic book head. But like, I fucking hate Disney right now. Like, they've ruined almost like, I'm sorry, after like Endgame, Infinity War, pretty much all their comic book movies are unbearable. So
I used to be a huge Star Wars nerd, man.
I didn't even want to watch that.
I can't go back and watch episode 1 because I know how the story ends. It's like Game of Thrones. Like, once you know how the story ends, it destroys the whole franchise. I used to get home from work on Friday nights just to watch the Clone Wars animated show.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
That was good stuff.
Like, I'm just glad Disney's catching up to all y'all's favorite franchises. They destroyed mine first.
They just did another Red Sonja movie that had potential to be good, but it was just awful.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, just I don't know, do or don't check it out. But again, like all the white men in it are sexist or dumb. It's just like, and she's not the Red Sonja I remember from the Conan movies or the comics. She's just like this little 5'4", and she's like kicking. It's just like, oh, come on.
Yo, Artie, what's up, my brother?
Yeah, Artie.
What's going on, guys? I don't know how late you'll be on, so I'll just pop in now, say my little bit, and then I'll dash out. But I'll be back on I don't know how long you're gonna go on, but shout out to all of y'all. And I think you're absolutely correct with the title of the show. I don't know. I came in now and we're talking about like shows and movies and like audiences and stuff like that, but as far as the title of the show is concerned, yes, I do believe that men are abstaining from relationships and things like that. But in my opinion, I see no other real way to get people focused on what actually needs to happen than men staying away from relationships. I mean, it's not natural for guys to do this and girls to do this, but nobody, and when I mean nobody, I mean nobody with power has any type of way to kind of navigate this. So we're just going to keep song and dancing and keep circling the drain until somebody steps up and say, hey, stop having kids, or not we're saying that, but until somebody kind of enforces that, then we're just kind of going to be here. But as far as like shows and movies goes, they've absolutely corrupted everything with their just their media, their propaganda and things like that. Like even with all the gay things that go on in these shows now, now you have so many shows. It's not even like a show or movie you can watch where there's not people kissing the same sex, guy or girl, and for the people who think that they're just going to keep pushing this stuff and pushing this stuff and pushing this stuff, I mean, there'll be several people that'll watch it, but unless it has gun shooting or it's you have a favorite comedian in there, nobody's really going to watch it, especially the people that are on the fence, like maybe us, for example. I'm going to watch a movie with maybe my a favorite comedian in it, and I'm going to watch a movie where a lot of bullets are flying. If it's not one of those two things, I'm not really watching it. So all these movies that are like chick flicks and all, like everybody's just constantly pushing this idea like, oh, it'll work out in the end, and it's not. So I think it's absolutely best that men stay away from women in terms of long-term relationships until somebody can fix it. And you know how I always go, and I don't mean to kind of guide the conversation one way or another, but like I always tell you, I place the blame solely on religious institutions because they the ones who started this BS. When you rolled over to the state, when you rolled over to the ways of this land, you peddled people right into it. It's one thing to go into like a let's say we're walking into a store. It's one thing to go into a store where something bad you know is going to happen, but it's another thing when you go walk in, hold the damn door open, and funnel millions of men in it, funnel millions of women in it, and that's the situation we're in. So until the church can figure out their BS and stop feeding men to the state, and that can like kind of stave off for a while, then people will kind of get a baseline of um, we have to do for ourselves. So absolutely.
Oh yeah, like you're actually really super correct about that because if you were to have gone to a church between like 2005 and 2014, they were pushing non-stop. Like they really started the woke stuff in certain churches because you guys remember all the Catholic church scandals in like the early 2000s. So they were having to course correct it. So the Catholics were occupied and that left like a huge gap for like Protestant churches, not like calling a specific denomination of them out. But that's the reason why we have these woke pastors right now. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen like the LGBTQ friendly churches out there. They're, like,
Yeah.
because Catholic
Oh
church.
my God.
And like, even if like you notice like what the popes have been like the last couple popes have been saying, they've been kind of like sprinkling it in there too. So like, there's no one to really like all that happens is people will just leave the church, and when they leave the church, their spirits kind of become like empty, and they don't want to go back because they don't want to go back to that like nonsense. Because it's like I was raised a certain type of Catholic where it was like you get your palm slapped on Sunday if you mess up, to where it's now like, hey, like we'll walk you down the gay aisle.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse. And I'll say this before I hop off. It's going to continue to get worse. But like I said, I place the blame solely on, and when I say the church, I just mean all religious institutions. I don't mean one over the other because, like, even I play my soundbite. We are all equally worthless. So it's everybody. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, rich, poor. Like all of us are to blame for it. But how religious institutions kind of spark this and keep this egging on is because they keep folding. There's so many rules in that book, but when you focus on the ones that benefit the church and you focus on the ones that you want people to do that help benefit you, you're just placing a spotlight on your BS. And I don't know how many examples are we gonna have. Was it Marvin Sapp or whatever that guy saying, close the doors, I need 40K, ain't nobody leaving until I get 40 bands. And then you got TD Jakes attending these Diddy parties, and we don't know, these were daytime parties. We don't know if any of them were freak offs and stuff like that. You have this commingling of righteousness and let's just say falsehood. And until that rectifies, and these people kind of get away from it, it's going to continue to happen. I mean, in Atlanta, you have that black guy with glasses said, he has a church and he's trying to get people. He says he wants to train people on how to grow weed. So because he's realizing there's a lot of men that don't go to church because they like smoking in Atlanta. So he's trying to train them on how to grow weed. So I'm like, dude, listen to yourself. This is literally coming out of a black man's mouth too at that. So the Christian church is completely co-opted. And all these LGBTQ churches, I know that there's a big famous, well, I don't know how big it is, but I know that there was a famous guy who was married to another man and had him as the first lady. It was a bigger thing back in the day. It's just completely it's gone off the rails. And until that can kind of, I don't say that that's the only thing that can fix it, but until that kind of stops, then everybody can have a baseline. And I don't know any guys out of all the straight men north of 18, under 60, I don't know any of them that attend church on Sundays. So, and that's any type of religious institution. I don't know when the other churches meet and other religions congregate, but I don't know any of them that go into that. You're just going to be told what to do, but then, and then I'll say this last point. There's a famous guy, maybe about a couple months ago, maybe 2-3 months ago. He was out of Arizona. I can't remember his last name. I want to say it was like Dow or something like that. White guy who was telling guys, hey, I need the men to deal with women who have kids. And if you find a woman and she has a kid, so what? That doesn't matter. She is a woman of God now. And it's like, dude, you said this he has a big church. I don't know if anybody can find a clip. I believe he was out of Arizona.
Oh yeah,
White
that's been happening in a few churches quite often for the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you're going to tell people, to take single mothers on, and you're not also going to tell women at the same time, don't be a single mom. So these people, um, like J. Cole said in his famous song, the good news is you came a long way, but the bad news is you went the wrong way, and that's where we're at as a society. We came a long way from sticks and stones. We can grow food and we can do these marvelous things with technology and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we went the wrong way. Where did we go wrong? We went wrong, I'd say at least 50 to 100 years ago. But some people will track this back 300 years ago. And those are real conversations, or the people I like to kind of pick their brain about it, because they seen the writing on the wall 150 years ago. So, yeah, man. But love y'all. I'll be back on in a little bit if y'all still up.
Yeah, man.
Maybe about an hour if you're still on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
shout out to
sounds
you,
good.
Letty, and Bar. Shout out to all y'all.
Good to see you.
Maybe,
Artie.
yeah. Shout out to all y'all, man. Let me bounce out.
But one thing am liking, right? I don't know about you guys seeing it, but I'm seeing a lot of women crashing out because of the government is, wanting to cut off a lot of government assistance, right? Like EBT, SNAP, all that stuff, and a lot of them are women. So we're seeing at least some results that, so you chose to depend on government, daddy government. Well, this is what you're are seeing, that a lot of women who wanted to steer away from, being coming correct when it comes to dealing with men. Well, one of the ways that they could ignore men is go towards the government. Well, now when the government is, not caring about you, a lot of women are suffering through it. So I definitely, and because I said this, right, I always believe that, in my opinion, I believe it's women, right? I believe women are the core. I'm not saying 100%, but they are the core of the problem, because I honestly believe anything after feminism, it is women who have a hand in it. Okay, like we were talking about our entertainment, it's women who changed it up. We have politics, women who are changing it up. Societal norms, societal talking points, it's women who are changing it or creating it. So at the end of the day, I mean, men have faults in it too. We allowed it, but I think at the end of the day, it's women are the core of the issue. And because like I said, one of the things men are allowing it because thanks to government, we allow women to belittle men and think less of men because they have the government to rely on. Well, we're seeing the results of that a little bit.
Oh, that's because women are very good at organizing, man.
Yes. That's true.
Like back in 2017, when like the manosphere was actually like making strong movements into the mainstream, they had the perfect opportunity. Like 21 Studios, the Rational, Rollo Tomasi, and Andrew Tate, all these guys. We had the perfect opportunity to do our own march on Washington, and we didn't. We could have helped like organize. So women are just better at organizing, and when it comes to like changing laws and stuff, like notice if you, like look up the history of alimony, that's like a 1920s law. And women will be like, "Oh, you want to keep the laws from the 1950s, huh?" Well, it's like, bitch, you're keeping a law from the 1920s, not even like offering it up on the table to get rid of it. So we just gotta start organizing as well as they do.
Here's the thing where I guess it's men's behavior that, we don't give a shit. At the end of the day, a lot of men, we can deal with it. We can suffer through it. So I guess for me particularly, it is what it is. I'm not gonna cry how it turns out, but I'm definitely, and I've said this before, I'm definitely, I'll sit back and see the world that women have shaped. If it burns around them, well, I'm ready to react to it.
Yeah, but we're like as men, we need to stop. Like, there's that old saying, like, men only care when the barbarian's at the gate. So, like, the barbarian's not at the gate anymore; it's inside the gate. We gotta get that barbarian out, and the only way we're going to do that is like seriously coming together and like actually kind of pushing for law changes, because until like no fault divorce gets taken off the table, I'm not getting married.
No. I what was it? There was, well, let's finish this. Let's finish this one off, and then because I saw something about it a while ago. Let's finish this one off, and let me see if I can find that video.
Learn emotional regulation. Learn about female nature. Learn about values, morals, and the future you want to create with a woman. Do you want a family? Do you want to build a legacy? What traits do you want in a woman? We can't just focus on how a woman looks. We have to focus in on what she will provide to a man. Yes, men are providers, but women also provide something. And that's either bettering a man's life or destructing a man's life. And that's the importance of influence in a relationship. Your choice of partner is a representation of yourself. And if you don't like the types of women that are out there, or you don't like your past partners, then you don't actually like yourself. And that's something to look into. And I'm not here to blame you, shame you, or make you feel worse about yourself, but I'm just saying the act of not wanting a girlfriend, never wanting to be in a relationship again, is going to get old real quick. Whatever season you're in now, do something with it. If you're single, prioritize yourself. Prioritize the relationship you have with you. Do things that not only test you, but equip you with tools that are necessary for your future, and how you can influence relationships out of the changes and sacrifices you're willing to make within yourself. Because relationships are a beautiful part of being a human being. Doing life with someone is amazing. And I think a lot of people pretend that that's not the case. So whatever story you're believing in right now of why you're single or why you want to be single, make sure it's one that's empowering. Make sure it's one that is going to make you into a better version. Because if not, you're avoiding your greatness. You're avoiding evolution. And that's what you're here to do as a man. And if you guys are wanting any further assistance when it comes to your dating life, confidence, attraction, honestly, whatever it is, I'm here to help you. I do offer one-on-one coaching services.
Ah,
Here
ah,
comes the pitch.
I hate that. Oh my god, this is the grift. This is the grift. I hate that shit when women are trying to peddle. Oh, I'm going to teach men how to be better men as a woman. What the fuck?
You know, I know this sound like high school bullying and stuff, but we need to start letting the hot women bully these mid-ass looking women again.
Yeah,
You know what?
bullying back.
Controversially, I'm a if it's not violence, I'm a big supporter of bullying. Right? If it's not, I mean, violent bullying, that's a bit overboard. But like, we should be able to accept name calling.
That woman was like a solid for acting like she was Megan Fox giving advice.
Yeah. I don't think it's men don't want relationships. We're just looking like, whoa, that's kind of dangerous for me right now. I'm just gonna take a step back and wait till stuff fixes itself because I didn't create this mess.
I'm women's language. I'm just going to say I have high standards.
Yes, drizzle king.
It's not even high standards. It's common sense. That's the problem. We're dealing with one side that has common sense and logic, and another side is I feel and whatever. You can. That woman, she said so much that really made me mad. It's first of all, it's no accountability at all. It's you. She said that if you hate yourself, if you hate all of your ex-partners, which is crazy talk. Only a female can say that. Only a woman can say that. I'm sorry, because that's just not the truth. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here that, because to be honest, the average man might have did like 3 relationships, and he gets screwed over three times. He's done. He's done for real. Like myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm 3 and done. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I have worked myself to the bone, and at the end of the day, what do I have for it? I have 2 out of 3 children that really like we can't have no relationship because they chose to believe their mother. You know, that's crazy. It's crazy. She really made me mad because it's like you shouldn't be able. This social media network, soon social media came into effect, we were done. We were cooked because having these people, to be honest, shouldn't have a platform. And I'm pro. I'm pro. I don't believe in censorship. I really don't believe in censorship. I believe you say what you got, say what you want to say what you gotta say for real. But half of these people should not have platforms. She shouldn't be able to just have a video talking to Craig because nothing she said was accurate as far as I could see. Really, most people, you can be like, oh, well, at least they said this, and I see how that can be true. Just like the other day, how we was watching the snake lady, the lady with the devil on her chest.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I'm
the
saying?
the goat, Satan
goat.
goat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
At least you could say in what she was saying, I see how she can get to her points. I see how I can't say she's completely wrong in what she's saying. But that lady right there, everything she said was completely wrong to me. It's like, what are you talking about? You're that's girl math, as they say. Girl math.
Now that's astrology psychology right there.
Space racism.
Because like, and you brought up a good point because she not once even said your pain was valid at all. She just said you were hurt, move on. You were hurt, go for a season, move on. Never
You
once did she.
hate yourself.
Your pain is your pain is valid.
No, and this is the thing where I have a problem with these people. Where even with the woman, the other woman, right? The goat, the goat tattoo woman, is that at the end of the day, these are women that are grifting. They're making money off of men. Okay, the other one, she's an OF model. So whatever she says is, I always find it invalid, right? So even this woman, where at the end of the day, she's trying to coach men, and I'm like, other women's trying to, show off her bodies to make money off of men. Here's a woman that's trying to think she can better men by coaching them, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's just a grift because I don't believe these women actually believe the shit they're saying or are really, about it. They are just saying shit so they can, at the end of the day, again, they value men's wallet. That is it. So this is the insanity of it, where a lot of women are just showing how they view men as another tool to make money from, and that's where I find the hypocrisy and delusions in so many women. Because
Yeah,
I want to say this, right? At the end of the day, none of these women hold other women accountable. They don't. They don't gear their content towards women because that's where you should. Because I believe men are the ones who would want to self-improve. Men are the ones who want to be better. Okay? Particularly, we see a pretty woman. We would love if a woman says, "Oh, you got to do this." Men will see, okay, if this pretty woman is saying I got to do this, I would think, "Oh, I have to do this so I could be as good to be with a woman like this." But in reality, she's just saying shit so she can get your money.
but we all know never listen to what a woman says. Watch what she does.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would think anybody don't believe what anybody says, believe what they do. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the problem with putting children. I say this in videos I make all the time. I say that the family law system has given insane people money and children to screw them up. That's what they did. They gave them money and children, and it just they screwed themselves up. Uh, what Artie was saying about the church, feminism to me is when church didn't fight feminism because they wanted a tax-free existence, that was the end of it. That was the downslope of civilization. Actually, you know what I'm saying? That because religion is supposed to be a moral, like a more. It's supposed to be a moral thing. You're not just supposed to let whatever happens. That's Satanism. Actually, I would actually think. I would actually say, and people might get mad at me for saying this. I would actually say that more religions are satanic than whatever they're supposed to be, because you can't just do whatever you want to. You know, and there are rules and regulations to this. There's rules to this for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do whatever you want to do. And that's what we have become, a society of, say, Satanists, narcissists. And that's the problem. Having probably like 70-80%, because I think there is a 10% of women who don't know what they're doing. They're just it's in them, it's in them, it's in their DNA. They just do it just to do it. You know what I'm saying? But 70% of them are narcissists. They're mentally ill, and that's what we're seeing on. Because I watch a lot of videos and stuff, and that's what I see: mental illness of these people. To actually go online, I heard a woman go online and say that oh, well, it doesn't, basically promoting paternity fraud. Craziness. These people are insane. I'm sorry.
All right, so I just looked up a stat real quick. Approximately 59 to 71% of adult women in America use at least one prescription drug.
That's
No,
right.
No, this is the thing where, again, more women than ever are on antidepressants, or some kind of form of mental, right? Mental issue medicines, right? And that's the thing where, I honestly, the world that women are creating is burning down around them. Even women are not happy with how the world is right now, and women are the ones who have shaped it. Right. And this is why, I mean, one of the things why I love doing this is, like, you know, I think that I love my community, right? I love my community where we're promoting that we're not hating on women. Okay. It is a way where we could talk about issues. We can express our feelings, express our thoughts. And I think that is how we help to improve each other. This is why I wanted to create tonight's show, where we're showing a little bit different side of, men's content, right? Where men are, valuing themselves, and they're valuing their peace. They're valuing their quiet. They're valuing their own life, right? MGTOW, that's it. So I wanted to show other aspects. And that's why I love, in my opinion, where I love the manosphere's content, where there's so many aspects to it. And like I said, do not agree with every single one, because I don't agree with Black Pill. I don't agree with Red Pill, all this stuff. I don't agree with MGTOW and every single thing, but the knowledge is there, and it helps you to improve yourself and see what fits in your life. That's why I love, men's content. And here's the thing, I wish more young men would actually get into it. Now, I wish more content creators will tell, viewers to, like, do not listen to me 100%. Okay. Figure out what is best for you. Okay. At the core of every single, in my opinion, the core of every single movement is, one, not to hate on women, and two, to love yourself. That should be the core of all these movements, all these ideologies, all these philosophy. So whatever else you hear, you got to determine if it's right for yourself. All right. You should not be toxic, which is hating women. But two, you should also understand what's the most valuable is loving yourself. Because I honestly believe we have so many men that do not, because most men make up, the high suicide rate, the high homeless rate. Most men make up the worst of our society. And that's one of the problems, where most men don't love themselves.
Well, like they were never really taught to love themselves.
No.
How many How many kids, like, I don't want you guys to date yourselves or anything, but how many of y'all, when y'all were in high school, how many, like, non-popular kids that just kind of stuck to themselves did you, like, that are, like, just lost out there?
Exactly, and and this is why I love starting this community because again, I, when I before I started this community, I was hearing so many stories of men suffering, right? Suffering through their marriages, suffering through their relationships, suffering in society. I've heard stories of men telling how they suffer. Nobody cared, right? We've had men don't care, definitely women don't care. And that's why I wanted to start this community where at least if you are part of this community, you would see that men do care about other men. And we don't have enough of that. We don't have enough of that. So that's why I've said this before. I don't find it cheesy. I don't find it bad. And I always say, I found you guys like brothers, right? Red Door like a sister. And I've said, I love you guys because we don't get enough of that. As men, we are only hated. We're either used or hated. And that sickens me how the world view us average men. Because here's the thing. I believe the world is made for top tier men and women. That is it. That's how the world is made for. If you're not a top tier man, if you're not a woman, which is why I see a lot of men, controversial and kind of conspiracy theory. Why are so many men trying to be women? Right? You're seeing the trans movement growing because here's the thing. Again, it's only for if you can't be a top tier man, well, could be a woman, and nowadays you could be a woman. So that's the thing.
That's like a path out of their suffering.
That's a controversial. I mean, a kind of conspiracy theory, and that's what I'm thinking.
No, before her channel got nuked, Lauren Chen did a video on that, how some Gen Z men were transitioning so they could hook up with women because they were giving them attention.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know.
mean,
I don't know, but I'm definitely thinking that.
Like that.
No, I mean, I didn't see that video of her, but I definitely have a conspiracy theory that I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing such a rise in men trying to be women. I'm seeing a big rise in that, at least at least in social media and entertainment. And I believe again, it's because the world hates men. So if you can't be a top tier man, well, here's another avenue. You can be a woman. So I don't know.
I also think it's like back in our era, you used to have men that were like joining gangs at mass, and that was like the fly joining gangs and selling drugs and stuff. That was like the hot button thing. That was the thing to do. And now it's transitioning. That's the thing to do per se now. That's why I kind of think it is. They kind of switched it. You know what I'm saying? And I actually think somebody at the top was probably putting all these things out here. Just like I said, Disney was started to combat Nazi propaganda. It was, you know what I'm saying? That was coming into America. That's what Mickey Mouse was for. Steamboat Mickey. Look it up. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. It was to combat the propaganda that was coming into America. And I think we have to see the average person has to be smarter. That's just what I feel. The average person has to be smarter and not fall for the okie doke. We're falling for the we're falling for it. We're if you don't stand on something, you fall for anything. And that's the truest statement ever. One of the truest statements ever. You know what I'm saying? If you don't stand on nothing, you're not willing to go to war for something, then you really are worth nothing in your society as well. And we've become a society of mental ill Satanists. I'm sorry. That's how I feel.
Hedonists too, yeah. Hedonism is promoted. Quick microwave culture. I want it right now and fast and hot. I don't have to work or wait for nothing. I want it now, and I want it like right now. I'm not waiting.
But we were talking about the laws and stuff, and how if men are not getting together, and this is what I wanted to show you. I thought this was interesting that if men are slowly, I think groups of men are slowly trying to change society, and we get results like this, which is I think is interesting.
Divorce rates are dropping in Kentucky. I went there to figure out why. In 2018, Kentucky became the first state to make 50-50 shared custody the default. That means that children split their time equally between both parents, and fathers pay less in child support the more time that they spend with their children. Before that, judges decided custody based on what they called the best interest of the child. Fathers said that usually relegated them to an every other weekend arrangement, the so-called Disneyland dad effect, while mothers got to spend most of the time with their children. Since the law passed, divorce rates have dropped. Between 2016 and 2023, divorces in the state fell 25%, compared to 18% nationwide. It's hailed as a victory for fathers' rights, but the story is more complicated. Some critics of the law say that people are staying in abusive marriages because they're afraid of leaving their children alone with a parent with a history of violence. One mom told me that her husband nearly killed her in 2023. She filed criminal charges and was arrested. But less than 2 weeks after he got out of jail, a judge awarded him 50% custody of their son, indicating that the abuse wasn't a factor since he didn't lay hands on the child. The law has become a model for other states. Arkansas, West Virginia, Florida, and Missouri have passed their own versions of the equal custody presumption. Around 20 other states are considering it. Divorce rates are dropping.
Now, I would say this. I would think that it's always stupid that you can't. Here, my always things that at the end of the day, you chose that man. Okay, so I always think that at the end of the day, it's. Now, I don't agree with abuse, because those are absolutely disgusting, heinous men. But I do understand that. I wish more. Let's say for that particular case, okay, I hope that judges and officials actually make it a thing to keep up with it. Where I hope, because again, toxic, abusive men should not be around children. Okay, so I definitely don't support that. But you see the results where at least men's advocacies are trying to make changes for the better. And I think it's crazy that even 50-50, you still have to pay some child support, which is fucking insane to me. Right? You shouldn't be paying nothing when it's 50-50. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree. If it's 50-50, why am I paying? And what you were saying, I personally don't. I think these women are just lying. They're liars. They're lying. Because if I watch 10 videos and 10 women say abuse, say abusive, whatever, they're lying. Somebody's lying. It's not 10. It's not either you are a horrible picker or you're a liar. So they can choose which one. Either you need to take some personal responsibility in the people you're picking to have children. Number one, we have to come off this thing where he's abusive, but I'm giving him a baby stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And I'm gonna say this. They have fought to have unalive babies. They have fought to unalive babies. Now nobody won't unalive a abusive man's baby. What's going on? That's a little crazy to me. I think they're lying. That's just me. I think they're lying. You know what I'm saying? I just think they're lying. You can't be telling, all these women cannot be telling the truth about all these abusive men, because you know what? Number one, if a woman, a woman, period. But if a woman definitely is half decent, all she gotta do is just go outside her door and be like, he's hitting me, and somebody's gonna take care of that for her. So I'm not understanding what is really going on, and that used to happen. That used to happen back in the day, back in my time. I don't want to even seem like I'm super old, but back in my time, you put your hands on a woman you know, without a reason, if you want to. You know what I'm saying? You do that to a woman if you want to. Back in my day, you know what I'm saying? It will be handled quick, fast, and in a hurry. And that's why they want the fathers out. That's why they want the brothers turning into sisters. That's why they want all this stuff, because and that's what gets me. It's an attack on masculinity. It's an attack on manhood. And I agree with DA in some respects. We gotta just sit back and watch it burn. But then we cannot let them destroy what we built. We built this. They didn't. That's why they don't have no respect for it. That's why they can do what they do. They have no respect for it because they didn't build nothing. They ain't do nothing. We built this. We can't let them destroy what we built, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like, first of all, let's give Kentucky a giant W because they're the first state to actually like help out men. Like W Kentucky, but like at the end of the day, like that's a small, that's a great first step. And you know how that video says that like these other states are considering it. You know, like I kind of want to like I think I'm going to look up more of the data on that tonight to see because I also want to know what the alimony situation is in situations like that.
Just to add, Florida abolished lifetime alimony in 2023.
I can't believe you guys. Why would you get lifetime alimony? It's like fucking
No, they
ridiculous.
abolished it.
No, I mean, like, why was that even a thing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But we don't like the law from 1950.
Yeah, right. Wild.
Yeah, but like you know, like what Phoenix was just saying. You know, like when I heard like that, like, oh, he abused me, I just went straight to that Tom Likas clip where he's like, you were married to a man for 2 years and you had a baby with him. And then, like, my mind just went straight to that Tom Likas clip. And yeah, like,
talking about that, right? Talking about that. This is, I mean, I did want to say something where now I'm not saying, of course, there are abusive men out there. Of course, there are terrible men out there. But I've always, in my mind, it's not like, I never fall in, you have to believe all women because that's idiotic. Okay. You don't have proof. I don't believe you. But I've always thought about this when you dissect women's thought patterns, where women's stories. I always see this, right? And I'm not talking necessarily about that particular woman, but when it comes to a lot of women, okay. So he wasn't abusive when you were dating. He wasn't abusive when you got in a relationship. He wasn't abusive when you got engaged. He wasn't abusive when you got married. He wasn't abusive when you got the first child. He wasn't abusive when you got the second child. But he was abusive now. It's like, it makes me, I mean, again, I'm not saying anything's impossible, but it always makes me question how, and we've seen it so many times in recent days, right? With women's false allegations and women weaponizing that shit. How are these men all of a sudden so abusive when not a single time throughout this relationship he never showed actual sign of abusive, and then you continue to be with him, right? Have one child with him, two child, sometimes even multiple, like dozens of children with him, and only after all this now he's abusive, particularly when you want to divorce him. That's why I always find women's logic or women's stories so weird.
well, I think at like maybe 3 out of 10 situations, those men got pushed to a breaking point with that woman.
Oh my God.
So I can kind of see something like that where after 2 children, dudes, maybe they've been together 5 years, have 2 kids, and we all know how women know how to break down men to the point of like they know our triggers, especially if we're together 5 years. They know each word to say in like just a code to like break us down, like say this followed by this and call his favorite team crappy. Boom. Like they know how to do that. So yeah, I can see situations like that, like 3 out of 10 where the woman just completely breaks that man down.
Nowadays, abuse is he told me no. He didn't let me do what I wanted to do.
Boundary. He wouldn't let me go twerk at the clubs. He's narcissistic.
They like changed the domestic like abuse where it's like emotional, financial, physical. They probably throw in spiritual because you didn't take them to like the Renaissance Festival or something.
Didn't worship her crystals. Yep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: where if you guys watch my content, I've said this multiple times, and I love using this statistics. 70% of one-way domestic violence, right, is committed by women against men. 70% of one-way domestic violence, and the other, right, domestic violence is usually you're both, right, being abusive and toxic to each other. Because so we never talk about that. Where I guarantee you, a lot of these women, because they are unhinged, they can't be controlled. They are abusing a man either verbally or physically. But the sad thing is that when men can't take it anymore, sadly he can't control himself. He shows her he's abusive to her. But that's the result of him being abused in some form or fashion. But the result is that because we are men, we show the results of our uncontrollable nature. Where yes, she may get a black eye, and I don't promote it. But again, like I said, most domestic violence is both people being abusive to each other. That is most, right? So we only care about the results. We don't care about what happened before it. And that's insanity that's why it's hard for me to really trust a lot of women's stories, because of course they always want to paint themselves out in the best case and the best scenario, make themselves the victim, while definitely make sure that he's the villain. And particularly in divorce cases, particularly in child custody cases. So,
the high rates of domestic abuse in lesbian relationships, when you factor in psychological abuse, the high rates of lesbians getting divorced. I mean, so perhaps women are just as abusive as men, but they're just not as physically strong.
Manipulative. They're manipulative.
Yeah, they have to get other men to beat up the men that they can't fight.
That's
even
even worse.
Cops. They use cops. They use cops to do their dirty work. I've said this before. Women, I've said this before, right? It's probably not necessarily a statistics or study, but I guarantee you a lot of men, if not most men that are in prison, that are in jail, it's a woman who used him as a gun, used him as a weapon, and pointed him at another man. She used men, and this is the ability of women, right? Women know how to manipulate. So women use men essentially as a gun. They never need to get their hands dirty. So this is why I've always said that you see the statistics with lesbians, you see the statistics what I just said. I believe women are more violent than men, but women are smarter than men in a way where they can manipulate men. So essentially they just use men as a weapon against other men.
Yeah, and like think about like the stereotypes we have of women, like here where I live in Texas, like there's always the joke of the crazy Latina girlfriend that you can't break up with her because she will slash your tires, she will call her cousin. Like no one ever takes these stereotypes as seriously because like it sounds like ridiculous. Like you're telling me a 5'2" Latina put a knife to your stomach? Come on. But yes, it happens.
I think when men speak out about abuse, they get things like, wow, you sure can pick them. It's okay. No, but okay. No support. All right. I'll just keep it to myself.
A real man wouldn't care if a woman beats on them. You know,
I didn't just put her in your place. You weren't a real man. Like, she had a knife at my throat. Like, what was I supposed to do? Like,
no, that's one of the things I hate. I hate a lot about men, right? In the sense that we think it's okay for men to suffer. Right? I hate that. Why as men we think it's okay for other men to suffer? I hate that shit. I really do.
Well, like I think I can answer that, and it's because whenever we see our buddies like suffering, like I'm not talking like other men, like I'm talking like our close friends and stuff, and we see them getting their ears chewed out because we told them 100,000 times not to do it. It's like if you're gonna keep putting your hand on the stove, I'm gonna laugh at a certain point.
No, no.
Usually those same men came to us asking us for help and support, and we told them you got to leave this abusive person. And then the next day they're back, like got their arm around the girl, and it's like, well, come on, man.
Like they have the
Yeah.
pussy pedestal, and like we try and lead them back. Like, hey man, like I can tell you, I've had many conversations at the bar where it's like I'm trying to watch my favorite soccer team play and I can't because homeboy's crying. You tell him the same thing every Saturday, and every Sunday he's back doing the same thing. At a certain point, you're not going to answer that Saturday call.
So I think what DA likes to say is you gotta be accountable, men and women.
Nope.
Yeah.
100%. This is. I said this always, right? And again, I've said this where I don't promote hating women, because at the end of the day, people are what they are. But I definitely promote, if you are not accountable for your own actions, then you get what you get. So men that deal, and again, this is why I do support like a lot of MGTOW philosophy, where at the end of the day, if you don't care about yourself, then no one would, right? So if you don't care what you're doing, then at the end of the day, whatever happens because of your actions, well, that's what happens. So no one to blame but yourself.
And I'd like to go back what Phoenix said. He had 3 failed relationships. After that, you start to get a very keen eye on women that you meet, and you see the same like red flags and behaviors. And then you start to see like, oh my, most of them are like this. So you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna back up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I
no
think that's
cow.
why passport bros are popular. They're like, all right, bye North America. Let's try something else.
Well, like
Yeah.
passport girls are becoming more popular because it's like, oh, I can go to the Philippines and get my dick sucked in a lobster for $20 and not get yelled at. Like that sounds appealing to anybody.
Not
Yeah,
gonna
you
lie, yeah.
yeah. You also can get robbed. I think you need to be with
Yeah.
anything. You need to do your due diligence. I think that's the overarching thing. With anything, you need to do your due diligence. And going back to what Da said, he said what bothers him and what bothers me is that all women are not sugar and spice and everything nice. Some of them are shit and piss. Just be honest. That's true. All women are not sugar and spice.
That's
And I think
yeah.
you have a segment of men who actually experience women, and some of the bad ones and some of the good ones, and then you have a man who was raised by a woman and hasn't experienced women, and then they're butting heads. I'm sitting there telling you that hey, be careful, because there are murder mommies out here. There are women that set up guys out here, and then on the
Black
other side, the
widows.
guy's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? All women are goddesses." That's the problem. I don't believe that. I don't believe anything is anything. I don't believe in that. I think that's what got us messed up right now. We want
That's
to say everything is everything.
That's called the women are wonderful effect, where it's benevolent sexism if it's a woman involved. And yeah,
Okay.
it needs to be looked at, and people need to talk about it. When a woman's involved, it's seen people just give her the benefit of the doubt, make excuses why she acted the way she acted, and it's just that has to stop.
What did you do? I hate that. What did you do to her? What you
Yeah,
mean what I do to her? I
yeah,
had to do something bad to her for her to act crazy? She's crazy.
yeah.
That's, that's
They did a video where they had a man and woman in public, and they had the woman hitting the man, like smacking him around.
Yep.
yes.
I seen
And
something like
everyone
that.
just walked by and smiled, and oh, he probably deserved it. But the second he like stood up for himself, it was just everyone like rushed him. Whoa, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
And that's the funniest thing when you look how society, look how men go about. I think men believe in equality more than women do.
Yes.
Men believe in equality more than women do. So, which is quite funny.
I say that all the time. I'm more of a feminist than half of these feminists. I believe in treating each other right more than you do. You have a sick form of Stockholm syndrome. That's what they have. They want to be Amazonians. And I tell people all the time, if you look at the Amazonian mythology, what if you're a man, would you want to be a slave? That's crazy. These men are like putting themselves in a position to be slaves. I ain't putting myself in a position to be no slave. I'm sorry, I ain't doing that one. We ain't doing that one.
What is
That's
it?
just how I feel.
Responsibility without authority is akin to slavery. Is that what
Exactly. I agree.
Basically.
That's true.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny that you bring up that Amazonian point because like every like warrior class that men have ever loved, like the Crusaders, if you're Catholic, um, soldiers in certain time periods, they always like are trying to demonize these men. We're probably gonna get to some point where they demonize the men from 1776 if they haven't already.
Yeah, they have already in certain respects. I read a book about that like 10 years ago, and that was 10 years ago, and it was like on the line of that. You know what I'm saying? And this is like what that book was Princeton Press. That's Princeton Press. You know what I'm saying? Princeton Press, and they were on they were on the line of it. You know what I'm saying? They were just pretty much stating the facts, but they were on the line of, oh, if you're a man, if you have a peen between your legs, then obviously you're a bad guy. Obviously you're a bad guy. Because women are sugar and spice and everything nice. None of them do anything bad. And I think that's part of the problem. We've allowed them to, and really, I think this is the thing. It's an extra disrespect on top of it because men have died to civilize this world for women and children. And now they're disrespectful as hell. They're picking the bear, all this stupidity. But they wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for a man putting laying his life down for them.
Well, that's because
That's crazy.
when they were picking the bear, they thought it was the hairy gay guy.
AJ, what's up, my brother? What's up?
You guys, this is only in the West that this is happening. And it's, because I call this the arrogance and the ignorance of abundance. All these ideals of feminism and LDHD TV, you can only have as problems when your bellies are full and the lights are on, and you got clean water, period, right? This is why you look at the Middle East, Southeast Asia, they don't have these problems because a lot of the population's worrying about where the next meal is going to come from. And they weren't dumb enough to actually do something like the 19th, right? Guys, I'm starting to think places like Saudi and wherever, they're even right about these women driving. You know what I'm saying? Like they I mean, have you been women drivers? No survivors. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying though is like this. This is, I blame simps, and then guys, I also blame our selfless nature of men being used against us, where we did civilize the world so that we can make a better lives for women and children. But and men were willing to fight the bear with a machete and fight off tigers. All we needed was a pat on the head saying, you know what, dear, you did a good job. And here's a hot dog on a plate. But now men don't even get that anymore. I did a video on the fact that this is the lowest white male military enlistment in history. White dudes are not joining the military. If you guys stop joining the military, we're cooked. We're cooked. You guys are the biggest group of men there are. We're cooked. If white guys are not trying to join the military to defend God and country, what are we going to do? Send the feminists out there? Send Rosie O'Donnell out there? We're cooked. We are cooked.
Exactly. And this is the thing where I've said it, men like us around our age, we didn't demonize each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I never viewed. I feel bad. I do feel a bit bad for how society is viewing, like, let's say, particularly white men. Yeah. Why are we demonizing white men when honestly,
white men?
That's the insanity. That these are so many Western countries, right? You have UK, we have Canada, we have America. That honestly, well, I'm sorry, white men have established
Yep.
and people around the world wanted to move into, right? Wanted to, immigrate to, but yet we are demonizing these men
Yeah.
for, yes, I'm not saying the past isn't ugly. It is, but again, we are benefiting from, the actions of white men.
Yes.
So that's the thing where I just find it that, again,
And you
we
gotta
always try to find a villain.
white dudes, if you can argue that society is majority white, so I think it's like 67%, whatever. White dudes might be at the very top. Well, their wives are, the rich guys are, because the rich guys pay for their wives. But white dudes are at the bottom too. All the most negative outcomes. The guys that are in these Appalachian towns where the water's been fracked and there's nothing but opioids and unemployment. Well, that's white guys. The homeless, the mentally ill veterans. It just doesn't make any sense. And guys, you see this. Young white men, ages like 19 to 20, have had it. Gen Z white men have had it. They've had it. If you see some of the Reddit threads and the Discord calls of these young white dudes, once again, you can't talk bad about insert marginalized group. They go, or else what? What are you going to do about it? That's a scary thing.
That's why Nick Fuentes is who he is today. Like that's
Real Reigns, don't say his name. Say NF.
okay.
Because algorithm will get DA's channel. So just say NF.
All right. Yeah.
Cool. Good to know. Thanks.
But that's why he's gaining popularity is because of what you're saying.
Yep.
And like the white dudes that you're talking about, like, do you really want white dudes for Harris joining the military?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, guys. So I'm from Washington State, and there was like 33 black kids in my entire high school, right? So I went to a large high school, but it was predominantly white, right? And when I talked to other black people who grew up in like the hood or whatever, it's like most of their problems were caused by other blacks, and it's like you haven't been around enough white people to actually have such a negative view of white people. If there's one, I would say this, and I told DA this. When I drove around and I bought my house, I made sure that the majority people in my neighborhood didn't look like me, because you could have a middle-class black neighborhood, but there's always some drama. If there's one thing white people are, it's predictable. I know all my neighbors. I know when they leave for work. I know when the school bus stops by, and it's nice and peaceful. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is somehow I know people that might have grown up in like St. Louis or Baltimore, and I'm like, you went to an HBCU, you work in a predominantly black area, you live in a predominantly black area, but you act like there's just white dudes waiting in the bushes, just jump out and grab you. How is that a thing? That doesn't make the average white American, Asian American is just trying to get up, go to work, and pay the bills.
Yep.
And it's always B-dubs more. See, black men, all in all, we're waking up slowly. We're waking up, and a bunch of us were saying we are not voting for Knucklehead Harris. My nephew's 20. Him and all his friends voted for Trump. Right? Sorry, Orange Man. So, but it's B-dubs. These B-dubs, we've taken on the trauma of slavery. You were never a slave.
Identity politics. Politics. That's what we believe in, and it's messed up. You know, it's like not based on anything. Like you said, it's not based on anything. Like how you know, in my life, I grew up around a nice mix. I'm from PG County, which is by Baltimore. So I have a nice mix.
I used to live in PG County.
More white or other people have done things to help me than
me too
actual black people.
Me too.
It was like my first time going to a job at DC, and I didn't have enough money for the bus to get home or whatever, so I'm sitting there like this guy sitting there, it's like, oh, he paid for my ticket to get back and forth, and that was white man. Ain't no B-dub jump out was like, whoa, let me help you. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. It's just crazy to me. Yeah. Like you said, they don't even have the framework to even make that decision. Yeah. But It's a feelings thing, and that's what I think plays into the single mother thing. It's if I can get a person who only believes in their feelings to raise the men, then the men will grow up and only really care about their feelings, and that's what's happening. We become a feelings based society, and we're not going to make it with that
Yeah.
feelings based because it really is F your feelings and F your views.
Yeah.
For real. It really is. It's like what's best for everybody. And see, people are so selfish. Individualism. I have
Yeah.
this thing that I say there is nothing good. If it's an ism on it, it's not good. Anything ism is not good. And people will debate me on capitalism. I think that might be the one that it can't be debated, but anything else cannot be debated. It's not good for society. Any ism is not good. Individualism, feminism, any ism is not good. And the more you sit there and think about that, you're gonna realize how true it is. If it's an ism, it's not good. Sexism, Marxism, any ism is not good.
Well, it's an accountability thing too, because think about it. If you presuppose that that one group is a cause of all your problems, then you don't have to hold yourself accountable. Oh, it's the white man. It's like, wait, whoa, wait a minute. So, I might as well not even try anything because the white man. So what? You really think that all these white dudes that are driving trucks and working in coal mines are sitting there trying to freaking oppress blacks and women, and it don't make any sense. And all it is, especially with women trying to demonize men, they're the only ones that can say, well, there's a male loneliness epidemic and men don't approach, but then at the same time say that men are out here trying to holler at us. They talk out of both sides of their neck. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. And guys, Gen Z men are not having it. Gen Z men are more conservative than millennial men, than Gen X men. They're almost to where boomers were. They are not playing games, dude. And Gen Z women are more woke than ever. But here's the thing. Women they walked away from the table in the 60s. But they were expecting men to just sit there while they got piped down by Chad in their late teens and 20s and had these bastard kids and ran up all the student loan debt. And we're waiting. Oh, hey, Real Rain's going to sit there. La, 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 la. No, Real Rain's going to walk away, be a monk. He's going to get a passport.
Yeah.
Say again?
Kills them.
But yeah, but men aren't answering the call anymore. They're just not. Men are checking out. They're working their regular job. They're living in their regular house with a paid off 5-year-old truck, staying home, working on that old Chevelle or playing PlayStation. That's what they're doing. And
or going to a cabin in the woods.
Yeah. And that's the thing that society fears the most is men minding their own business, men going their own way, any type of men checking out. Because it's so, think of this. If Evil Eddie has his house out in the woods, he finally bought his, man cave out in the woods and he's chilling. What do they always say? Oh, Evil Eddie's out there. He's plotting something. He must be planning maybe he wants to be left the hell alone. The idea that a man wants to be left alone and not deal with women or anything they can't handle, they have to project because they know that they would be doing that. If it was them.
Well, I said this. I think that's one of women's fears, where men actually care very little. Right? Men are not that fussed. I mean, I think women. This is one of the things why women do fear red pill, MGTOW, passport bros, and all that shit. Where these are the type of men that are actually not giving a shit about you.
Yeah. Yep.
They're not hung up on you. They're not focused on you. In my opinion, these are the men that are, not the ones that they think deem as violent or abusive and all that, because these are the men that they're not dealing with you. They're walking away from you. They're not bothering you, right? The ones that are abusive are the Chads, the Tyrones, the Pookies that you constantly are picking. And these men, right? The Chads, the Tyrones, the Pookies, they're not part of these communities.
Yep.
Because these men don't have issues. They don't have they never have problems with women. So they don't join these communities because that's not them.
Yeah.
Right?
But
They
you
don't
see
care.
these. This is the first time in history where 45-year-old and 55-year-old women are competing for all the same men as 25-year-olds. How many times have we seen these chicks on TikTok where they're in their 50s and they had divorced their husband for no reason, and now they're out dating? What did they think was out there for them? That's the thing that I don't understand. Guys, my sister is cooked. My older sister, she's cooked. She's 48. She's single AF. They're gonna find her body in her house one day, just rotting. She is cooked, right? She's like, well, AJ, I just can't find a man. Da, 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 da. And I said, there's 3 types of guys that are single in their mid to late 40s, 50s. Guy number 1 had his balls burned in a divorce in his 30s. Now his kids have gotten older. His child support's done. His alimony's done. He managed to build himself up again, buy a house, get a Chevelle, get his season tickets to the baseball team. He doesn't want to go anywhere near a woman. Then there's guys like a friend of mine. He just became a partner at a firm, a law firm. He's 48. He wants to get married and have 5 kids. So he met a 28-year-old. He can have 5 kids with her. You know what I'm saying? Then there's the guys that are 50 and single for a reason because they're Pookies, Nugs, and Gavin, the starving artist. Or the guy who's 50 and he's still in a band. Your band. You're if you were gonna make it, you'd have made it. You can't be 50. I'm in a band, bro. Yeah, come on, bro. You're not gonna make it. But the third type of guy is what a lot of these 50-year-old chicks attract, because any guy that's like 35 to 55 that's single and actually worth a damn either wants to be by himself or wants to date younger.
Yeah. What a lot of these women that are like, from the age group of like 45 to 55 don't understand is they're nothing more than a fetish for a lot of single people. I mean, say like, that's the reason why like we all grew up loving Stifler's mom.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
It's true.
Yep.
Yep. And they sure will act like, well, if men can do it, we can do it too. It's like, what kind of childish thinking is that? And here's the thing, you can't. What's that?
Well, they always say men can do it, but they never ask if men want to do it.
Exactly. And I just laugh because you will have a woman who might be with a man, they got married young and their marriage is boring, the relationship, but it's supposed to be boring. You're gonna start all over again at 50. You're gonna both be bankrupted from the divorce. You got to sell the house, ruin his retirement, and then you're going from living in a big house with a guy that you can tolerate to now you're in some studio apartment with a cat and boxed wine.
Exactly. And this is the thing where men understand it, right? Life is not always about constant excitement. And this is the poison of a lot of women where they're poisoning each other.
Yeah.
They constantly think, life can't be. This is why men are, in my honest opinion, more emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
Men understand that, life can be constant, right? Consistent. Be content with life. You don't have to be happy 24/7. It's only women that constantly think, I need to be happy 24/7. And if I'm with this man while I'm not happy, it must be because of this man. Instead of, fine. If you want to be fucking happy, make yourself happy. But no, it's because of the man that you chose to be with, the man you chose to give your body to, the man you chose to give children to. He must be the reason why you're unhappy, not because of your own delusions, your own, fucking mental instability. No, it's because of someone else. Lack of accountability. It's never because of you. It's always someone else, and then you ruin someone else's life because of your selfishness.
But this is how childish they are. They want to be happy at a job. Guys, have any of us were taught that you need to go to work and be happy, son? No, it's a job.
That's where dark humor comes from. Men at the job.
Yeah.
Monday. Hey, yeah.
What kind of delusion do they have where they need to be get up and commute and go to a job and be sunshines and rainbows? I've not. AJ, do you have a dream job? No, because I don't want to work. I work, obviously, but I don't want to have to be anywhere. I want to be able to. I want to get paid just to be me. You know what I'm saying? But that's not realistic. My dad told me when I was young, son, when you're 16, I mowed lawns. So I was 16. You are going to get a job, and you're probably going to work until you die. It doesn't. Even guys that are millionaires, and guys that they're still working. You know what I'm saying? Musk is a billionaire. He works a lot. He's going to probably keep on working. He'll probably never retire because he's just that type where he has to work. But we are going to probably work until, even if we're retired, guys like us, will, I don't know, feed the homeless or will, do something to help people. I don't know. But we're going to work until we die. But women have this thing where they want to work and do all this to prove to the all-knowing they need to know that I'm independent. Who is they, right? Until they hit they get the baby rabies. And when they're 32, 33, 35, then all of a sudden they're like, Evil Eddie, so where's this relationship going? Because I don't want to work. Next thing you know, you have an Evil Eddie meets a chick. She spent from 18 to 28 going to law school, whatever, getting $300,000 in debt, and now she's going to expect him to put her in a position to where she doesn't have to work. My good friend, DA, my good friend's brother's a lawyer. His wife is not an MD, she's an ND. She's a naturopathic doctor.
What?
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Oh,
$280,000 in student loan debt.
Oh.
Then they had their 3 kids, and do you know she was a housewife? She didn't work the whole time until the youngest was in school. So he was paying her student loans and everything. And now the kids are grown. She's a nurse, so she didn't even use her stupid naturopathic doctor degree.
Men are too good to women.
Yes, I think so.
And but that's the thing. The statistics have shown that about 60% of women, they choose to be stay-at-home wives and stay-at-home mothers. Men are not forcing women to do anything, right? In modern day time, women are choosing everything themselves. Men are not forcing women to do anything. And yet even that they will complain about. Even that they will push the blame on men.
But the feminists are like, well, men, unpaid labor and blah, 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 blah. And it's so funny that they can't, the whole weaponizing competence crap and all this stuff. Guys, have you ever heard a woman say that, well, men can't take care of themselves, or my husband couldn't even take care of himself? When you met him, he was living on his own in a place that was probably nicer than yours, making more money than you, didn't have any debt, had investments. I would say he was taking care of himself just fine. But because you don't like the way he puts his work boots, you don't like the fact that some of his furniture doesn't match, you're trying to say that he can't take care of himself. A woman will go into a man's house and tell him what he's doing wrong in his house. A man won't go to her house and say, you have too many goddamn pillows on your bed. You know what I'm saying? That's not how we are.
Too many pillows. I'm out.
Yeah. Can you imagine? DA, your comics aren't in alphabetical order. You don't know how to take care of yourself. It's just ridiculous.
No,
it is ridiculous, man. So, but guys, one of my good friends is getting divorced, and he got married, and he when he met his wife, he was like, "So you want to have kids?" She said yes. He said yes. But now they've been fighting the last 6 years because she's like, I don't want to, you're trying to make me a brood mare. I'm not having any kids. So she didn't think he'd leave. And now he's filing divorce.
Good for him.
good. Right on.
Good.
Dude, that's the one thing you cannot compromise on is kids. And he wanted to be a dad when he was in his 30s. Now he's 42 because they've been arguing for the last 6 years, right? Do you know that he has a group of guys? And my friend is a PhD in engineering. He makes $250,000 a year. He's not an alcoholic, a junkie. He's done everything right, and he can't have. Why is it that Jorge can swim across the Rio Grande and work day labor in front of Home Depot, and he can have a wife and kids? But there's so many like white dudes, Asian dudes, Hispanic dudes that meet these women that are college educated and won't give them kids. My friend's part of a group.
Did that friend of yours watch your stuff? Does he watch your videos?
Yeah, he does.
Well, then he wasn't listening because he was in that relationship, in that marriage for 6 years too long.
No, yeah.
This is why I love our channels, right? Mine and yours, where we promote men. You gotta fucking wake up.
Yeah.
All right. You got to be the leader of your own life. You don't force women to do whatever they don't want, right? But do not allow women to treat you how you don't. The disrespect. I'm sorry. Your friend allowed the disrespect.
Yeah.
He allowed this woman to treat him like shit. He allowed this woman to not value him. And you said that he's a high value man. Well, he's a stupid high value man.
Yeah.
Because if you are making a certain amount of money, you are already rare of a man.
Yeah.
To allow yourself to be treated like shit by a woman you married, he should have left after year 1, year 2. Well, and that's the problem with a lot of men, where we don't love ourselves, we don't value ourselves. Yep. So we allow, again, even that man who made the money, he's desperate. He was desperate, and he couldn't value himself, and left a marriage that didn't value him. And that's the problem. This is why I said more men need to watch our content, your content, my content, Manosphere content, because again, we promote men to value themselves.
I just think that men need to change the way they love, because right now men love idealistically. So we love the idea of like,
Mm-hmm.
So it's more so like if you're me and you love big booty Latinas and you fall in love with like this big booty Latina who's giving you like all the sex you want and all these other things, you're gonna kind of like ignore all the red flags while we're not noticing that women love opportunistically.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing. Oh, sorry, man.
Okay.
No, but I was saying that men's nature is inherently selfless, and women's nature is selfish.
Yeah,
that's how it's, every single religious text talks about women being selfish and their nature and all this other stuff. They say men are like dogs, women are like cats. You know what I'm saying? And all that stuff. But the only thing that would make women act selfless was religion, traditional gender norms and roles, and shame. And now in the West, all those things are gone. So now we see women's nature truly coming out, and that's why I have friends of mine that married women from Indonesia. My friend's wife is Iraqi. You know what I'm saying? And they have women that were raised with those three things: religion, traditional gender rules and norms, and shame. And their marriages are actually okay. Now their wives didn't go to college. They didn't get indoctrinated.
I think that's where women get brainwashed.
Yes. Yeah.
Are these women living in America right now?
Yes, but here's the thing: they live in the suburbs, and then they started a family immediately.
Well,
and my Indonesian, my friend whose wife is Indonesian, they live near a strong like Indonesian community in their town. And then my other friend's wife, she has a lot of her family there. And then my other friend's wife's Ethiopian, and they live in an area of Phoenix, Silver Spring, Maryland.
Yeah, Silver Spring, yes.
How there's a whole bunch of Ethiopians there, a whole bunch.
Yes.
Yeah, my homeboy's wife is Ethiopian. So like it's basically that. So his wife is part of that community. So she will not get divorced. Like it's bad in their culture to get divorced. So she's one of the coolest chicks I've ever met, so
because I've heard stories of like people getting like out of country wives, but once they move to America, they become westernized, and once they get westernized, they realize, oh crap, I can do anything I want in America. Why am I going to stay with this guy?
Eddie Murphy. Eddie, yeah. I want to have
So what have
I'm American woman now. Hi, Fetty.
Guys, have you
No.
seen Heaven and Earth, the movie about the Vietnamese chick? It's this movie about this chick who kind of grew up in the Vietnam War, and then she meets Tommy Lee Jones, and he's like a special
Oh, I
forces.
think I have seen it.
guy.
It's,
1993. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and then he moves her back to where his family is, and everything's cool. But then after like 8-9 years, she gets westernized and opens up her own nail shops and starts talking all this mess. And it's a good movie. But yeah, that's what I've heard. Also, I just think that look, I still think that you're better off taking your chances with a chick that's from the East, because here at least she might be prettier and thin, because I see guys getting cooked by friggin' these belugas that they look. I'm from Seattle, guys. A Seattle 10 is like an LA 5. You know what I'm saying? I know dudes got cooked by a Seattle 10. You lost half your retirement to a Seattle 10. Come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? So, but yeah,
No.
like my one friend, he has a whole group of guys, like 8, 9, 10 guys that are stuck in this marriage with women and they're top tier guys that won't give them kids.
Oh, are you sure they watch your shit? Because you gotta bust their balls.
Yeah, some of them. Well, my friend does, and he's let some of his friends watch my stuff. But of course, they're like, "This guy sounds like he hates women. This guy sounds like he's misogynist." Oh well, they'll learn.
misogynist.
What can you do? Right? Again, if men want to be idealistic, they can be idealistic. I just say this, right? Same thing with the passport bro shit. We all, whatever choice you make, you gotta realize that you made that choice, right? So I would say be smart, but be realistic, right? Shit can happen anywhere. I've always said women, no matter where she is, it's always about money. But you hope that I've said this where I thought about it, even if you date a woman that's in Asia, you hope that because of her values, it weighs more than her, need for money. Because I've dated Asian women too, and I know that no matter where you go, they still want the money. It's just that we hope that, unlike Western women, there are at least values that go along with it, right? So I've always told men that don't be stupid that, oh, she's only loving you because she loves you. No, she also loves you because you provide for her. So go in it with reasonable expectations and be smart and logical. Don't be too idealistic, because I think, in my honest opinion, men are the romantics, and Disney really fucked our brains because of that shit, right? We always, men believe in love, in my honest opinion, more than women do. And that's the problem with us, right? Where we are idealistic. We believe in love. We believe in true love. And that's what I was like when I was a kid, when I was a teen. Believing in soulmates, believing in, love at first sight, all that shit. And that fucking poisoned my brain. Yeah. Right? And made me honestly, it made me put women on a pedestal. And all that shit was a danger to men. Okay. Not being realistic, not being logical and smart. It fucked up my brain when I was young.
DA, that if you put a woman up on a pedestal and you're looking up, you can't see the threats coming at you from all sides. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the thing, man. And guys, how many times have you even seen these dudes where a woman got him beat up in a bar or something? Guys, I was at a bar in Vegas, and this chick, she was like 5'2", 5'3". And I don't know what she thought. This dude was just chilling. She got drunk. Maybe she was off some tequila and got the dude's face, and her boyfriend was trying to calm her down. And she spit in the dude's face. Oh. And then the boyfriend got in the middle, and dude was like 6'5", and he knocked this little dude. Guys, the funniest thing I've ever seen, I was in Vegas, and I saw these two Beckys got beat up by a transgender.
No,
this dude was a 6'6". Dude, he's still a 6'6" black dude in heels. He looked like Lennox Lewis in those heels. And then we stole their purses too.
Oh no, brutal.
And everyone's like, AJ, go over there to help. I was like, I ain't helping anybody. I don't think so. No way. That was hilarious, man.
I'd push a girl like that and run away and go, take the girl and just get out of there.
If she runs fast, you trip her.
Yeah.
I'll push her down.
Take the girl. I'm out of here.
But like thinking about like how we can help educate other men, do you think right now if we were to go buy copies of The Rational Male and drop them off to high schools, would they allow that book in that school for young men?
No, not for long. Not for long.
Yeah.
Because
Guys,
there's
I
so.
think
Go ahead.
the whole Rollo Tomasi entrepreneurs and cars.
We
I
don't
think
talk about.
No, but what I'm saying is that generation of Red Pill, that's done, right? The whole Rational Male, the whole. I think spaces like DA where we have these types of conversations. Young guys watch this. They watch the back and forth. They want to see discussions more than take courses and read books. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So kids will always have cell phones. They're always going to have their buds in, and there could be someone that'll watch this tomorrow. I think that's the difference between the new generation, like DA, myself, where look, I'm not some expert. I'm not going to sell you guys courses. DA's not going. All I've been through, and this is why we'll also win. Real Rain, Evil Eddie, how old are you guys? You guys are like what? Your 30s, 40s?
I'm 50.
I'm 42.
No fucking lie. You've lied, my bro.
Really?
You got.
I would show you my ID, but
Look
Yeah,
at that. Man.
You cannot be 56.
Look at no way, dude.
No. I see that's the results of being his own man. Not like having women as chaos.
I'm a ginger, so I stay out of the sun or I burn. And
There you go, dude. Because usually gingers, age pretty.
Yo,
young.
you look good for it.
Yeah.
well, thank you.
No, guys, think about it. We aren't trying to compete with younger guys. I'll be 45 in a couple months. We're trying to help the younger guys, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to take these guys that are 19, 20, 21, 22 and help them not make the mistakes that we've made. Women, they're trying to compete with each other. So that's why they're cooked. 45-year-old chicks, 55-year-old chicks, they don't want 25-year-old chicks to win. No. Mothers don't want their daughters to win. No. Men want to see the younger guys do better than us. That's why we're doing this in the first place.
No, that's why I love that. Channels like yours, and I'm trying to do it more too, where we try and do call-in shows. Where I believe the true thing is to let men have a voice.
Yeah.
Right. To let men have a voice where we can talk and we can discuss and we can hash things out. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the amazing things. And I AJ, congratulations on your your growth. I love it.
Yeah, dude, 28K, man. Let's go.
It's amazing.
So hopefully I can end the year at about 30. But yeah, I think that DA is one of the rare guys, other than myself, that actually does call-in shows. A lot of guys just do videos, and I think DA and I have the same. Where I actually like doing the live streams more because I actually don't really like making videos. I really don't. I like doing live streams. Honestly, that's my favorite part of doing this. Talking to all you guys, talking to my subs, whatever. We have a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you're going to see kind of the model shift more towards this way because look at how DA does his panels, right? And DA takes on all comers, as painful as some of his calls might be, Yeah. But you remember, guys, when you do debates and you do panels, it's not about the people who you're disagreeing with.
Yep.
It's about the audience. It's about
exactly.
the audience. Let's just say you have DA and Real Rain and Evil Eddie, and they're debating three knuckleheaded, Rosie O'Donnell looking feminists, right? And there's 10,000 people on the stream. Even if 7 guys go, man, this DA guy, they're making a good point. You guys have won. You've won. That's how it works. And people want to be able to organize. Guys, we're never going to convince. Only what I think is a straight up act of God. Another cough, a major disaster where the abundance that makes these women ignorant and arrogant, that abundance needs to go away somehow. Another cough, a major disaster. That's the only way that they're gonna come back to the table. Because guys, or men just need to walk away. Because if someone's taking something for granted, you take it away from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what you do with children. That's what you do with children.
Hey, Phoenix, and that's what they are, right?
Yeah, that's what they are.
I think they're coddled as children, so yeah, they act like
I said that I'm not saying that women are children per se. I'm saying that women have allowed themselves to be regulated to children. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it really is. If you sit there and you don't take personal responsibility and you just get away with murder for 2 decades, that's what we have. You know, they got away with murder for 2 decades. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And look, I just want to say this: two things. One, Adam and Eve. I'm not really religious. I was, but come on, if you're smart, you're not. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm sorry. If you're smart, you're not. You know what I'm saying? But Adam and Eve, they tell you that Eve, not only did she disobey God, she corrupted Adam.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the point that most people don't see. That
offered
not
him
only
the apple. Yeah.
She not
like,
only
trust
did
me,
she
you want this, and he went, "Oh,
Yeah.
all
you
right."
want this? Yeah,
Didn't even
yeah.
have the balls to bite it herself. Got Adam to do it. That's crazy, huh?
It's crazy.
And guys,
That's just crazy.
To piggyback off what Phoenix said, I'm not religious either, but anyone that's remember that the Bible is a very patriarchal book, right? Like it's patriarchy, meaning that patriarchy comes from the father, right? And men have a certain role. And I honestly believe that guys that are truly practicing biblical principles, like the Red Pill guys and those guys, we see eye to eye on a lot of things, right? Because all of my friends that are truly practicing like biblical principles hold women accountable and men. Now this trad con, you know what I mean? Matt Walsh, a man of God would take on this single mom and her bastard children. A man of God would take this woman on even though she's got the herpes. You know what I'm saying? That is the issue that I think a lot of Red Pill guys have with guys who claim to be religious, is this trad con foolishness where they try and hold men accountable for traditional roles, but will not acknowledge that women have changed. Women are not the same, and they don't hold women to the same biblical standard anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I said exactly where I think I'm women right now, modern day women cannot. I believe a majority of them, 90% of them, cannot have the mindset to be traditional. Now they may try it, they may force it on themselves, but eventually, imagine a man that doesn't help you cook, a man that doesn't help you clean, a man that doesn't help with the children. Women will not stand it. So this is the thing where this is why I don't really support all these religious shit, because at the end of the day, women cannot be traditional. They cannot, at least not what actually is traditional. And I've said this before, where I believe traditional values is a luxury that most people cannot afford, most people cannot handle. So that's why I believe men are more equal than women.
I wouldn't say afford, because the more poor the people are, the more traditional values they have.
Yes.
Outside the West, they have traditional values because by force, it's necessary to survive.
I do agree.
And women have, since the 60s, have had the freedom to succeed and the freedom to fail, and they've been choosing to fail. I challenge anyone to name me one positive outcome that feminism has given women. One, they have more debt. They have more mental health problems. They're on more psych meds. They're more LDHD, TV. They have bastard kids, or they wait too long and don't have kids. They're stressed out and have PCOS, and their ovaries are all messed up. There's no. They're fatter than ever. Their life expectancy is going down.
Yep. Alcoholic.
Yep.
Yep.
Alcohol, drugs, body counts, STDs. You know what I'm saying?
I's and D's. Yep.
Yeah. There is not one positive thing that has come from this feminist experiment. Not one.
Yeah,
100%.
Now, for guys, there is one, and that look, guys, we're free. We don't have to, marry some broad at 18 and have 3 kids by the time we're 21, like our granddads did. We're free. This is the cheapest time there is to be where you can be a bachelor. You can make $60K a year in a relatively cheap part of the United States, have a small little house, have a little older truck, have an old Chevelle to work on, and you're chilling. They played themselves, guys. We're just chilling now.
Real Rain, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, kind of to piggyback off of what AJ was saying about like TradCon Inc. The women in TradCon Inc., like Lauren Southern, exposed just how much of a grift it was.
Facts. Yes, facts.
So you have like these younger women who they see, don't even get me started on fake Barbie. But like, they see these women and how miserable TradCon Inc. women are, and they're like, well, that way's bad too. So it's like some of these women, I kind of like, I do, and this much feel bad for some of these younger women because they're being led astray too by all these like false prophets.
No, because a lot of these women don't really understand what those relationships were like.
Yeah.
They don't understand that dynamic because I'm sorry, most women are raised to be feminists, how their parents are raising them, how their mothers are raising them. So they do not have the mindset to be traditional. And yeah, AJ is right that other countries, they don't necessarily, I mean, I think it's slowly infiltrating other countries, but right now there are a few countries that they're not teaching their kids, their daughters to be, strong and independent. But so many, pretty much the majority of women here, they grow on that rhetoric, and even if they think they want traditional values, they can't handle it because they're already indoctrinated. So yeah,
that's hard to be independent when most of the jobs in your country involve back-breaking labor, right? How are you going to be independent in friggin' Siberia or Romania or like Lesotho or something? You know what I'm saying? Like there's some air-conditioned office jobs there. You know what I'm saying? Like they either work in the market or they cut stuff in the field, and the men build the buildings.
The rice field.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
MFers.
And what think about like how we were trying to spread Western values into Eastern Europe, and as soon as the war hit, the women leave Ukraine.
Oh yeah, yep. They're in Dubai getting dookie dropped on by Sheikh Mahmoud. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But real, you're a Christian?
I'm Catholic.
Catholic. Okay. So what do you think of this whole, because I would say that, and Phoenix can chime in here, the Black church went to this prosperity gospel, TD Jakes, you know what I mean? Backflipping down the pews, and all you see is single moms and then the LDHD TV choir director,
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier with Artie, and I live right down the street from Joel Osteen's church, by the way.
Oh my God, that guy.
So with the Protestant churches, they were infiltrated through the Methodist church because the Methodist church broke apart, and there was like the United Methodist Church and like the Orthodox Methodist Church. But like I'm also seeing kind of a revival of Catholicism in my area because people are kind of rejecting that Protestant spirit. Like, but I don't know too much about Black churches, so I can't really talk to that.
They're a mess. They're so the Black church started the whole like Joel Osteen mega church model. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is that they know that single moms and stuff give more in the collection plate, and that's why men en masse in the United States have left the church. Men are still Christians though, but they're not going to go give pastor pork chop part of their paycheck. It ain't happening. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you have the Orthodox Church, the Catholic Church, where you see a lot of Gen Z men are actually going back to the church now. Like they're actually more religious than millennials, Generation X, whatever. But they're going more towards Catholicism, Orthodoxy, whatever. But the whole Protestant church, where you go there, you're gonna waste your Sunday getting lectured to by Pastor Porchop about how men are bad. Why is there misandry in the church? Why is there gynocentrism in the church? That shouldn't be possible. And heaven help if you walk into a church and there's a female pastor, get the fuck out of
Run.
here. Come on.
I'm sorry, people would think I'm chauvinistic or whatever, but run.
Yeah.
Run. When these women are in positions of power, fucking run.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially if you a man that got some sense about him. If you I hate to use the term high value, but if you a high value man, fucking run.
Yeah.
Run real fast. Real fast.
Kind of the reason why we're having like a Catholic revival is because like take Matt Walsh out the equation because he's terrible. But you also have like some awesome like Orthodox and Catholic figures on YouTube like Jay Dyer and Andrew Wilson.
Yeah. Andrew Wilson. Yeah.
And they're making church look kind of cool and like I don't want to use the term base, like but they're really making it. You see
the word. Here's the word. Really, look. We're all old enough to remember like the 2000s where you had those like trying to be hip pastors with a man bun and the V-neck sweater. Jesus rocks, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's when things really started to go off the rails. But guys, I would say that it would take an Andrew Wilson to bring me over to the faith. I'm not quite there yet. You know what I'm saying? He makes really good arguments, but Andrew Wilson talks about Christianity in a way that most young guys they've never heard. All they've heard is this Joel Osteen prosperity, but they haven't heard it spoken about in that direct masculine way where he makes the points and he's basically showing like the moral superiority of the biblical position when it comes to that versus degeneracy. He's being direct. He's not, we have to sugarcoat. And I honestly, my nephew, my family is not religious. He was listening to Andrew Wilson. Wow, I didn't know anything about Christianity like this. So I believe that he's one of the biggest factors that's leading Gen Z men more into the Catholic faith or the Orthodox faith or whatever. These more what do young men need? Structure, accountability, right?
Purpose.
And that's what purpose, and that's what those churches do. But all right, DA, I'll jump off. But hey, man, DA, I'm gonna have a fatigue stream here in the next week or two, and I'll hit you up so that you can be on it because I want you on it from the jump.
All right. We do that. I'm gonna come up. All right, man.
Take it easy. Bye, guys.
All right, later.
Let me just say one thing about the church thing before we move on. My issue is I have no problem with taking certain ideals from AD mythology or cosmetology or theology. I have no problem with that. But I say this all the time. You are a narcissist if you think that your way is better than hundreds of thousands of years of trial and error. I think that's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? And unless somebody can take me to the BC point of a lot of the things that they're talking about, which I can, because I study history, it's kind of hard for me to fully go into that. You know what I'm saying? Now, the ideals are there. I would say the ideals are there. It's there. But this thing I say about the Bible, it's a whole lot of good shit, a whole lot of bad shit, a whole lot of good shit, a whole lot of bad shit. And that's what we have to realize. It's good and bad. It's stuff that is actual teachings that you're supposed to take to yourself, and then it's stuff that is indoctrination also. And I think we need to know that, and know not one thing is all good. No religion, no nothing, no is all good.
Yeah, like you should always feel free to question everything, no matter
Critical
what.
thinking.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So like, it's not a matter of like you take the religion aspect out of this. It's just a tool for a better life.
Yeah. Hmm.
Just fun.
Guidelines.
Yeah,
That's
but
Exactly.
and I get what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, for especially for more so people that look like me, you were given that in slavery. That's where we got Christianity from. You know, high take. That's where we got Christianity from. We
No,
got Christianity.
that's why. No, that's why I said, like, at the end of the day, it's just use whatever you can, so you can have some basis as a man, right? Some principles, some moralities, some teachings as a man. So that's my thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying that we can't throw the baby away with the bathwater. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
No.
And I say that it's cool to be whatever you want to be, but know the truth of the matter. That's what I'm saying. Know the truth of the matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, know what happened. Know the Constantine and the Council of Nicaea. Know about that, and then you can take the tenets how you want to take them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, do that. Take them tenets on that are benefit you. Yes, but know the manipulation and the games that some of these people have played. That's what I'm saying. You know,
No.
that's like my thing. Just know what they just know the truth. You know, and I want to say this one point. Why people hate KS, KS. Why
Oh.
people hate KS is because KS, he was like the beginning of all this. Really, he pulled the veil from my eyes. You know what I'm saying? That all women are not sugar and spice and everything nice. He pulled the veil from my eyes. That's why to this day you have women. He's passed away, and to this day you have women who can't stand his guts because he he exposed them as whores. I'm sorry. That's what he
Well,
did. You
I
know what I'm
think
saying?
I think KS got kind of popular, kind of the same way FN did, because we all just love seeing people get put in their place.
Mm-hmm.
Held accountable. Yes.
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 Like, and there's just something about someone who he did it with confidence and he did it with swag.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Class. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think you're right and I'm right. I
Yeah.
think it's both. You know what I'm saying? I think, yeah, to draw people in, people just like to hear people go off on people, actually, to draw them in. But then once I got you here, I'm hitting you with the truth. Truth bombs, truth bombs, truth bombs, truth bombs. And I think that's a good tactic, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy, actually. I'm going to give you I'm going to play into your ignorance. And then once I got you here, I'm going to give you some food for thought. I'm going to give you something real to stand on. And he ain't lie. That was the thing for me. He ain't lie. He was in there going against these B dubs or whatever, going against these people and telling them the truth. Men too, telling them the truth. You're foolish to think that you're going to get a top model if you're not making top model money, homie. You're outside. You're delusional. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we have to do. So what we have to speak against delusion. This
No. I mean,
delusion is killing us.
100%. I modeled a lot of my teachings or a lot of my thoughts after him, where I always said it. My main thing is accountability. So that's why he was an amazing person, But all right, guys, I want to have everyone give some last words, because It's been a while. I don't want to take you guys so much time. So, I mean, bars. You said your thing. Artie, any words, any thoughts? If you saw the stream,
Yeah. I came on, or I was just back on at the tail end of AJ leaving out, where he
mm-hmm.
mentioned about having you back on and stuff like that. But I did catch that last part where he was saying something about Andrew Wilson. I'll just say this because it seemed like it went back to a religious talk. These religious people don't even realize that they're feeding more people into the truth and like understanding our point of view more than they're actually pulling these people closer to God. And I always said this too. The religious and the church people, they're like in the equivalent of football, they're like the go route. They care is the big play. They want to throw 40 yards down the field, and they think that that's going to solve them getting back into the game. It's like, dude, you can't just go right at men without understanding. Like, you have to push the ball downfield. You have to, those underneath routes, you got to run the ball like to get to the touchdown. The touchdown is the goal, not the big play. And so that's where I think the church people, they drop the balls because they think we just got to get men in line. Dude, what? Let's just say you had all of us in line. You got all of us in line. It still don't fix the fact that women are still going to be not following God's rule outside of being married if they're just single, and even inside of marriage. They're still not going to listen. I mean, hell, Eve didn't even listen to Adam. The very first story of a man and woman came, and the very first story was about a woman not listening. So this whole idea that you're just going to get men into a position and they're not going to and these women are going to act right is beyond me. It's already an economic issue. We have AI coming to take people's jobs, and people are losing money left and right. These SNAP benefits are gone, y'all. So now, I mean, I'm going to if I gotta go to Walmart and pick up like anything like that, I'm going with my strap. I normally just I would leave it in the car, but it's on me now because I'm not about to go get food for my family and shit like that, and then walk out and then somebody try to rob me because they can't feed they, pissy pants baby boy or baby girl. And until that kind of fixes itself, that we're gonna be in this continual cycle of, I call it death and decay slowly. So um
I didn't
and
even
just let
consider that they would try and rob other customers. I was just
no
concerned
no
about
I'm
Walmart. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, we see the memes, and we see the now they got the AI videos. Did y'all see this called Bonatisha? It's
Yeah.
they made a
Yeah.
Pixar thing about it. So, we know that people will get violent, but women will get violent when their backs against the walls. That's something that's a human nature thing. If we don't have food, then unfortunately, I love all y'all on the panel, but my baby's got to eat too. You see what I'm saying? So they'll get like that too. Very few
Parental
people will
instinct
live
can be
on morals.
lethal. Yes.
Yeah, very few people will live moralistic, or they will live by the word of a book or the word of a Torah or whatever these religious books are. So, but I just say that to say, if you're going out now that they're not getting money and they're not getting fed, they will look to leech off you. So now girls will be more predatory. So now you may think you're going on a date with a girl. She ain't got no plans on. You may think she don't want to go on a date with you just to get the food. Now she's going on a date with you to try to rob you because she has to feed a kid. So that's a whole different type of stress that now women have to deal with. But again, I didn't make it that way. Them being hot in the pants got it that way. So make sure y'all take care of yourself. And yeah, just don't fall for these gimmicks, especially from these religious institutions, because at the end of the day, they're institutions. They want your dollars. Like, tithing isn't solely a financial benefit. Tithing actually didn't come about with money. It came about with resources. And the last time I checked, you got time, you got your physical labor as resource, you got money, you got help, you got other type of ways to help somebody, but all they care about is the money. So now that we realize that these religious institutions only care about money. So
all right. You ready? Any last words?
I think it's good to see more men waking up to MGTOW. And yeah, I don't know who made the point earlier, but that's women are afraid that we're going to organize because they're really good at organizing. So I think we need to get the message out to stop young men from suffering like we all did. And that's my final thoughts.
Okay. All right. Rain, I'll let you. You're the one who gave me the push and the idea to start tonight's topic. So I'll leave it out. Any last thoughts for you?
My last thoughts is thank you, DA, for giving me the opportunity to speak. Thank you to everyone else I talked to tonight. And just remember, like, MGTOW's a philosophy. It just takes one step to just, just start taking out care of yourself. That's all I got to say. You let me talk enough.
No, that's why this is the thing where I hope you guys come on more often, right? Right? Because again, if you guys want to come on Wednesday, I'll have a call in, okay? Because I think one of the worst things is that us as men, we're not expressing ourselves. We're not allowed to have opinions in this world because people hate us. So please use this opportunity to get a chance to, have a voice, right? Because that's what needed, right? You can't always borrow it in. And again, I want to promote, this is a brotherhood, okay? This is a family. I've said this before. I love you guys, and I do, and I mean it. So do not feel like, you are, hopeless in this world, okay? So know that, this is a family. Hope you guys join. Hope you guys like it. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for showing up, right? I love you guys. You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So have a good night, my brothers. All right. All right. Be good. Thank you, everyone, for being here. System, right? I love you, my brother. Thank you. Okay. Everyone else, anyone else who, Omni, you are here too, my brother. My sister, Red Door. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. AJ was amazing, right? I love the guy. I love the guy. Anyone else? David was here. David. Cams, my brother. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Whiskey was here too, my brother. I hope you're doing well. All right, you guys are amazing. Any other shout outs I forgot? If I did forget you, know that not on purpose. I still love you guys, right? So you guys are amazing. Please check out my other videos. Please like, please comment. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You guys are amazing, right? Later, guys. Be good.